Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another edition here of the Mayhem, the group stage, day number 1. I'm of course ShoWTimE. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the Hulu chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different here. Welcome back to a bit of a catch-up broadcast. Again, when it comes to the current player base of StarCraft 2, everyone's traveling. Everyone is traveling. Everyone is coming back from DreamHack Dallas. So this is a good time to catch up on events that we otherwise missed out on. That's why earlier this morning we actually caught up with KSL, the Korean StarCraft League. Here we are catching up with day 1 of the Mayhem. For those that are curious, this is a tournament that of course has been taking place throughout the course of May, and we did cover day 2 and day 3 live. We did cover them live. The votes are over on YouTube, the votes are on Twitch, the votes are available for live coverage of the earlier groups, of the other groups, I should say, of the other days of the group stage. But we missed out on day 1. We missed out on day 1. We were not able to cover it. We were not able to broadcast. So we're here to bring it to you here and now. It's like, oh, hey, look, there's an opening, especially without any events happening at the moment, so we can catch up on day 1 of the Mayhem. On top of that, I believe the playoffs will be this week. The playoffs of the Mayhem are going to be this week, so better now than never to catch up on everything that happened in the groups before we head into those playoffs. They might be rescheduled, bear that in mind. The playoffs are currently scheduled to begin in 2 days, on the 28th, or tomorrow, I guess. Tomorrow on the 28th, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is going to be clashing with some EWC qualifiers, so that might be rescheduled. Things may kind of shift a little bit in regards to what is going to be taking place, but regardless, we're here to bring you day 1. Let's go. Oh, as we start things over and catch up on the bracket itself, here we go. So we have 5 best of 3s. For those that are curious, this is a 6-player group. We have 6 players here. We have 3 Koreans and 3 Europeans. We have KYO, SHIN, and herO from the Korean side, and we have Clem, MaxPax, and ShoWTimE from the European side. Every day was 5 best of 3s, and here we're going to be catching up with day number 1. A lot of TVPs, and we do sprinkle in a ZVP in there as well. Thankfully. So we do have quite a plethora of matches ahead of us here. Up first going to be Clem versus herO, followed by KYO versus MaxPax, KYO versus herO, SHIN versus MaxPax, and KYO versus ShoWTimE. Again, a lot of TVP. A lot of TVP here tonight. We will be having a break halfway through to kind of break this up overall. And yeah, hope you all look forward to and have a great day and great broadcast. Again, we were live earlier this morning with the KSL, with the Korean StarCraft League. Now we end the day with the Mayhem. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be live with the Pig Store Monday. The Pig Store Monday is also going to be available here. That is going to be later on. Ooh, actually, never mind. I was going to say it's going to be tomorrow, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe also the Latin American League is also going to be tomorrow. So we'll figure it out. It's going to be a lot of content. A lot of StarCraft. For now, though, we're going to be jumping into Game 1. Game 1 of our fresh Best of 3 series. Game 1 is going to be on Killer's Mile. We're jumping in. Let's go. Another thing to bear in mind when it comes to this event is that it does feature a custom map pool, not just your regular ladder maps, but we also feature some of the some of the newer TLMC maps, TLMC 20 maps, and here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Killer's Mile. We have the French Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. Here we go. As we are catching up, as we are going to be catching up here with our TVP. First things first, we have initial openers, and welcome to Killer's Mile. Killer's Mile, again, was one of the top performers when it comes to the TLMC 20 kind of tournament pool that we had. Unfortunately, did not quite make the cuts when it comes to the ladder map pool, but based on what we've heard from Wax, based on what we heard in regards to the ladder map pool, this map may eventually make it through anyway. They did mention how they wanted to make a more regular automated system to actually update the ladder map pool for StarCraft 2 on a more regular basis, not just once a year, but multiple times a year, and it may include incorporating some of the older TLMC maps, just because so many maps have been made throughout the years. So it is something to look forward to. Otherwise, we do have our initial economic opener, Rax expand out of Clem. Likewise, herO across the map going for a gate, Cyber expand, standard opener out of herO. Likewise, economic opener out of Clem. Again, Clem is one of those players who has been mixing in 2-base all-ins and TVP, but not always. I would say it's more every now and then he does like to sprinkle it in. He's not quite like Mario, for example, that does it every game. He does like to mix it up and actually play standard, actually play macro as well. It's crazy, I know, crazy. But I might be getting ahead of myself, so we'll keep an eye on our players. As here he does pull back. And behind this, we're soon to embrace our tech of choice, whether we go Twilight Council, Stargate, or Robo. Meanwhile, when it comes to our initial setups here, likewise, the rushes to spike round on Killer's Mile is very short. We do see a lot of all-ins on this map as well. There is a narrow ramp coming in towards the natural base, and this is a little more defendable, that is true, but the area at the third base is less so. Again, we don't quite have a ramp or a choke point to take advantage of. It's a little bit further out, so even then, it's a very wide ramp as well. So we have seen a lot of all-ins, a lot of successful attacks at the third base of Killer's Mile. So then, Reaper does dip in. Reaper does break forward. And will not quite get the probe. Probe does pull away. Reaper goes down, doesn't get the scout off. Nice defense here out of herO. Is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of our Protoss player. Of course, Clem is in the dark. Likewise, here is Shades behind the mineral line, going for the SCV. Shield's going to be going up. SCV does pull away. And a nice save as well, diving into the bunker. Ooh. Likewise, CC does complete. Second SCV is saved, and with that, Clem doesn't lose anything. Very nice control here out of Clem. Does hold, does defend, and meanwhile, herO does reinforce. He's here to try to find some more damage here. He can tank some shots, does get behind the mineral line, and both SCVs are going to be forced back. SCVs are forced back, Mule as well. Once again, very clean reaction here by Clem. Very impressive. Ooh, as he does shade into the main. Does shade in, doesn't commit. Behind this, we do have a 1-1-1. Hellion first, Hellion into Tech Lab. And we'll see if we go for the add-on swap. Nope, Cyclone is on the way just to be safe. So far, Clem does hold, it does defend, does zone away. herO hasn't lost anything yet. And likewise, hasn't killed much either, but he has denied some mining time. Mining time has been denied, killing one Reaper and one Marine. Behind this, gateways are on the way. How many? 3. Ooh, my apologies. 4. Wow, it's been a while. 4 Gateling Stalker. Okay. herO is going to double down. He's going to double down. He's going to be hyper aggressive. With this, he can try to head into the main, likewise into the natural as well. I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of tanks. It is going to be Cyclone first into Cloak Banshee, which means tank count is going to be delayed. It's going to be minimal, and we might see herO breakthrough. Let's go. Prism is on the way. Warpins as well. Just see herO fanning out, actually trying to keep eyes on any kind of drop play, any kind of move out. That's vision here out of herO. As he does pull back. Likewise, there we go. First Banshee's on the way. Looks like it's going to be a singular Banshee into Raven. Interesting. I mean, they're still investing into Cloak. Still a very tense moment. Hellion is denied. Actually, is it? Never mind. Check the vision here, Clem. He saw, yep, all 4 gates. He saw every single gateway. Immediately, we do have extra bunkers on the way. 2 bunkers on low ground. Voids are being pulled. And they're ready here for the 4 gates. I say that herO does get behind the mineral line. It does bypass those bunkers, no tank on the low ground. And because of the initial build, so if SCVs are going down, nice control here out of herO. At the same time, Banshee does hit the natural. And herO, what does he have back at home? He does have detection, but Stalkers are across the map. Not at home, forced to recall. The Banshee doing well. Does force the recall. herO, he races back home. Race back. Getting 2 SCVs. And 3 SCVs going down. At the same time, though, a lot of probes did fall. Banshee still alive. And likewise, Clem holds. Again, he was vulnerable, by the way. He was vulnerable to the 4 gate glaives. Sorry, four gates blink, that's what I meant to say. But here he was forced back home, now forced to expand. This is a late third base out of herO. And herO, he's in a rough position. The initial 4 gate did not do enough damage. He needs more. And he's going for it. Dipping into the main. Going for a stim. Does threaten. And can he target it down? Looks like he can. Not bad. Okay. Does a nice stim. Nice pickup. Here he does deny. Likewise, back at home. Is taking up. You have the Bale Noise for Colossus. Vorture +1. Here working towards that next step. And at least denying stim will delay any kind of push. It delays Clem, it keeps him contained. Here we're just buying as much time as possible, considering that he is behind. Has to do whatever he can to slow Clem down. Oh, not like this! Oh, bit of miscontrol. Yeah, miscontrol there. herO does rally into the army. And with that, the Prism goes down. More Stalkers as well. Bearing in mind, that was without stim as well. Aye. herO just not expecting Clem to be that cavalier with his army. To be that active. And with that, herO, he is hurting behind this, building a bunch of gateways, going for the Bay. Likewise, a big shout out to Einstein. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Einstein. You subscribed for 29 months. That's a lot of months. Thank you. Do appreciate it. As always. Einstein. So Clem does break out. Does move out across the map. Stim is done in a couple of seconds. Again, this very beyond move out. Just moving out and he will hit it just as the upgrade's complete. 10 more seconds. And here he is hurting. He cannot take a head-on fight, but he can try to slow this down. It's a Marine. Gets 1 Marine so far. Gets 2. 2 Marine kills can maybe get on top of the tanks. Catching him, Rotor, not bad. Rotor goes down, dives on the army, gets a first tank, gets 1, barely gets 2, but takes a lot of hits to the face. Aye, Mind Shot goes off, Auto Shots get thrown down, and Clem is just going for the kill, going for the throw to depowers the gateways, depowers the Robo. And again, the 4-gate blink of herO just was not good enough. As he even gets into the middle line, Probe's going to be going down. Getting on top of the Zealots, the Stalkers are zoned away, now blinking over, and even if he cleans up this army, the damage has been done. 11 probe kills. I say 11, 19, Jesus, oh my. 19 workers going down, and Clem is still rallying. He's still just rallying across. Still just moving in. Going for the not going for the Nexus. Oof. Takes some Mind Shots to the face. And Clem, he can take it slow, but I mean, he has double the supply. I mean, why not just commit? Nice force fields. We'll slow him down. Again, herO, he's down 20 workers. Down in economy, his Robo is still depowered. GG gets called, the writing was on the wall, and Clem will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Clem, he does take a lead in this series, does take the first game, and again, herO, he did open up 4-gate blink Stalker, which is an aggressive build. It does delay your economy, it delays everything, it delays your tech as well, in favor of a 4-gate blink timing, in favor of extra Stalkers, which can be quite effective, but as we saw, he did not do enough damage. He was initially doing well, he got behind the middle line, he was killing SCVs, but then he was forced to recall. Then he was forced to recall instead, and in that, I think, because of the Cloak Banshee, of course, the Cloak Banshee was the MVP of that game for Clem, but he was able to force that recall, buy enough time, allow himself to maintain himself and take a lead and just get further ahead. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations here. Clem takes the first game, but we're now getting into game 2. We'll see if herO can bounce back, can recover, can force the ace match. Let's go. Game 2 is going to be on Persephone. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the French Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Go. So players are set up. We're good to go. And again, welcome to Persephone. Persephone being one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Very direct shorter rush distance by air. Direct rush distance by ground as well. But I don't see herO going into 4-gate blink again. I mean, typically it's something that you don't rely on too heavily in a series to begin with. After it failing in game 1, I most likely won't see it here in game 2. So we'll keep an eye on herO to see if he goes for a much more safer opener, like 3-gate blink into a 3rd base, if he goes into a robo base opener, or Stargate as well. It's got options. Likewise, ooh, double gas out of Clem. Now it's time to be the aggressor. Remember, last game, Clem, he was the defender. He was more reacting, responding to what herO was doing. He was kind of gathering up or biding his time, building up his forces before eventually breaking out. Here, double gas, faster factory, into what? Into a faster tech lab. From here, we can go into additional cyclones, we can go into early tanks, we can go into early Banshee. How aggressive is Clem going to be? And again, he's not afraid to 2-base all in. Clem does move out. So I did sleep 2 hours today. And that's relatively refreshed, kind of. Aye. I did get some sleep in between casts. I'll have you know. We're good to go. Good to go. It'll be fine. Oh, this was good. Better than nothing. As we do have the reactor first. Likewise, with a mine initially out of Clem. We're not going for the early tech lab. This could be mined into tech lab with just a singular drop. Or we could invest into extra widow mines instead. We'll see. As we have our Twilight Council on the way. An entire 2 hours? Yeah. 2 whole hours, man. Crazy. It's 2 hours too many. True. Well. As there's going to be a blink-based opener, of course. Clem does poke in. Just poking. And as we assume, just the one Widow Mine. So a singular Widow Mine straight into the tech lab into very early tank production. Tank is on the way. Again, this is faster than, say, Cyclone into tank, as we just only made that Widow Mine. Tech lab on the starport. This can lead into tank at Banshee into a stimulus push, or this can lead into, yeah, I'm leaning towards tank Banshee here. Second rack's on the way. Technically this can lead into an add-on swap. To stim. But there we go, yeah, more tanks are on the way. Drop into the main. Pro's gonna be going down. Widow Mine does borrow. And ooh, it does target the sentry, not bad. Sentry goes down, 7 probes as well. Aye, that is brutal damage. 7, 8 workers going down. herO's economy being crippled already. And remember, it's the 1-2 punch. We're getting ready for the follow-up. We're getting ready for the 2-base all-in. I say that. Raven follow-up here. But the tank count is building up real fast and real quick. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll see if he does commit into an earlier Rax. Yep, there's the add-on swap into earlier stim. But he does cut tank production at 2 as a result. Now, checking his vision here, he did confirm the lack of gateways. It is just 3-gate blink into a 3rd base, so it doesn't need too many tanks. He's getting away with the bare minimum. And this does mean that the stim time is going to be faster. Oh. They poke in. They get the mule. Throw in the mineral line. No damage yet, but he is denying some mining here, denying gases. Tank has a reposition. Ideally, Clem wants to bait the army in. Here he backs the hell up. Marine production well underway. As a matter of fact, does break out. At least does attempt to. And it's still quite tense. I mean, here he's now getting into his third base, saturating, getting to +1, charge, standard follow-up. This eventually goes into either Storm or Colossus, one or the other. Eventually. But I'm really looking at this sim timing. Meanwhile, herO does go for a massive gateway explosion. Gateways that before any further tech. Before the Bay or Temple Archives. Matter of fact, does make it back home. herO going for the gold, okay. Gold base on the way for herO. And we do see that Clem, he doesn't break out completely yet. He's going for the drop first. Drop does peel off. Then he breaks out. Raven takes a lot of hits. Oh my god. Raven takes a lot of damage. And Clem just holding up to Sim. Does Sim a handful of his units. Does force the blink. Breaking out across the map at the same time. Dropping to the mineral line. Probes once again going to be going down. So far just getting one. Nothing major. There's the energy overcharge. Clem has to pull away. Meanwhile, he is not aware of the gold. And remember, herO, he threw down 5 extra gateways. He has plenty of charge lots. He has plenty. He does get the first tank. Alright, just going up. Zelts are going down, but Stalkers, are there enough? Gets the final tank. As pickups. Here he mainly loses Zealots. And Zealots are expendable. Meanwhile, the gold base is getting up and running. So far, completely unscouted. Clem does not check. He doesn't know. And there's going to be force back. Here, topping his army up. And I would say that Clem's in a decent position here, if only he was aware of the base, if only this gold was not a factor. Marine checks up right, we have a Marine checking bottom or center left as well. Clem is looking for the fourth, he sees nothing, but there should be a fourth base. Like, the fact that there isn't is a tell. But will he check the gold?
Get me out of this mess.
He's going for the center expansion.
Command center upgrade complete.
Again, thanks to the gold, he can't afford so many charge lots. Then moving out, herO looking to collapse in. Alright, shots, we get some decent connections. Well, they are dealt with. Yo, mass hallucination. Okay. Yeah, meanwhile, here he dives in, he shuts down the Bioari. You have plenty of Zults where that came from, so many Zults on the way. And Clem is being overwhelmed. Being completely overwhelmed here, and he still has no idea. He still doesn't know. herO, he expands. Gets a 5th base. Oof. Decent mine connections. The last herO, he will chase us down. Let's go the Vikings. I don't know if they can against fake Colossus. Of course. And now Clem should be somewhat aware here. Just like how much he has been producing. But despite that, I mean, what can he do? Clem has to rebuild. We need to be active. Here it pulls away. Here claiming another expansion. Taking another base. Using another base. Likewise, here he does get into the mineral line. At least tries to. That's force fields, zones away some of the army. Blinks in. Without that, though, he's losing his zealots. At the same time, here he does hit the natural. Does hit the natural base. And again, these are trades that Hero can afford. Just throwing away zealots. And he can very easily just replace. Swarming in wave after wave of zealots. That's once again collapsing on reinforcements. Catching out more of the army. This here does move in. Does move in, just pulling Clem apart. And this is getting out of hand. Again, Clem, he was holding his own for a time, but he's just being overrun. GG gets called, and herO, he ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. herO, he does tie things up. Again, herO able to get away with a hidden gold base is one of the aspects of Persephone, and is something that herO is known for, especially in the previous map pools, maps like Royal Blood, maps where there ever was that more centralized gold base. Very often Protoss players would rush into, would take that just to be able to have an abundance of zealots to maintain map control, to keep trading, and to contain the Terran player. So GG well played. Clem, he did have map control for a time, herO when he broke out, but he unfortunately didn't have the wherewithal to check, to scout for the gold, and with that he was punished for it. And now we're going to game 3. Let's go. We're going to the ace match, and oh my god, the game 3 is going to be on torches. What with the vetoes? Oh my Jesus. So you're from Killer's Mile into Persephone into Torches. Very aggressive maps here, and spawning in the right-hand corner of Torches, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the French Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. When did this tournament begin? I mean, it's called the May Madness. Beginning of May. The event did go on a break just because of GSL and because of DreamHack, of course. I mentioned this previously, but because of GSL, because of DreamHack, the playoffs for this event was postponed. We did cast day 1 and day 2 of the group stage live, but we weren't able to cover day 1. We were otherwise covering another event at the time. I believe we were casting KSL. At the time of day 1. So because currently everyone is traveling and we still have a couple of days before the playoffs, now is the time to catch up on the replays of day 1. So the playoffs for this tournament is scheduled to begin in a couple of days, once everyone comes back, once everyone returns from Dallas. So until then, we're catching up on those day 1 matches. Everyone's flying home. Until then, we do have our initial economic opener out of Clem, Rax Expand. Economic opener. Likewise, herO setting up back at home. And it does set up his proxy gateway. So with this 2-gate setup here, the goal would be to delay the CC and to disrupt an economic opener, which is what happened. Ooh, Clem, he does recognize what's going on though. Yeah, he did SCV scout across the map, but meanwhile he will check, he will confirm the Stalker. Bunker's on the way. But I don't see him defending that natural. Yeah, he is going to be forced back. SCV does pull away, bunker's halfway done. herO, can he deny the bunker? Oh, it's going to be close. SV is barely picked off. Backup worker has arrived. Good reaction here by Clem. There's a cancellation. And here we go what he wanted. He got what he wanted. He does force a cancel. Massive cancel there for Clem. As his opener has been disrupted. Hero poking up the ramp. Behind this hero, he's expanding. He's getting out of this. But already achieving a lot of damage. Likewise, will threaten the main army. Going for the depot. Set bunker. Oh. So it's away the SCV. And if he can knock down that depot, he can shade in. Can shade into the bases. Gets another SCV. Depths are getting low. Takes out the Reaper. And that's controlled there by hero. Takes down the Reaper, but last more Marines have arrived. Adepsa cleans up, and Clem holds. Clem, he does hold. And behind this, hero is now taking. Twilight Council's on the way, working towards Blink. Clem getting to his own 1-1-1. Then he will break out. Does break out of the main. Likewise, more stalkers warping in. Ooh, bleeds out another stalker. Nice pick up. Clem catching another stalker. Likewise, even comes in for the surround. Oh, the locals are brutal. Oh my god. Insane surrounds, insane locals takes down 2-3 stalkers that recalls and only saves a single unit, a single adept. Ay, ay, ay. So again, nice breakout out of Clem. Now he expands, takes his own natural base. Worker-wise, he's still trying to catch up compared to his opponent, as this is a very late natural for Clem. But nice trades, nice pickups, and soon Clem can counterattack. We do have a third Cyclone on the way. He should be pushing. And he will soon be pushing. The Viking waddling out as well. Now, as Clem moves out, here we're looking to move in. It is only the one adept. But he will threaten the shade. Shades into the middle line. Gets another SCV. Gets one. Gets two, but he does not delay the push. Clem is still moving out. Shield battery is going to finish. And here he can defend his ramp, but what about the third? What about the third base? That does fall. Clem pushing forward. Spots a shield battery. It does lock onto the army. That's the locals that don't care about shield batteries. Shield battery does go down. Boys are being pulled. Nice damage so far here by Clem. How much more can he get? Takes down a stalker. Takes down one of the stalkers. Takes down the shield battery as well. Boys being pulled once again. Brutal losses. They do tank some of the lock-ons. But the control here with the Cyclones. Nice control by Clem. Does pull away. Does preserve them. Gets another stalker. And finally he's going to be... Oh my... The pickups! Jesus. Oh my god. The pickup micro saves the Cyclone. Bay loses one. One goes down, but he just keeps on rallying. Does keep pushing forward. Very nice control out of Clem. Saves the Cyclones for as long as possible. Only lost one so far. Now he pulls away. The third base does survive, but he kills 12 workers. Not just 12 workers. That takes down 5 stalkers, a sentry, and an adept. But mainly Marine. So a much more efficient trade here by Clem. Clem pulls away. And Clem is caught up. Clem is caught up in the worker count. He's caught up in the economy. From here, either we see another command center or extra Raxes. And Stim has just begun. We go. So he's moving out. Does move out. Meanwhile, we have extra gates on the way for herO. Once again, that's switching into charge. Likewise, Clem also building up back at home. Again, because of the earlier cyclones and because of the shaky early game as well with the amount of damage that was being done, we just see the stim is a little bit later, so third CC is now on the way. He's just securing himself here on 2 bases. herO should not be pushing up the ramp. Ideally, he's just here to contain. Just contain the Terran. Clem does what the observer. Oh! And he wants it. Soldiers move in. They do get a tank. Nice pickup. Goes down. Clem breaks out. Oh! Does break out. Likewise, here trying to collapse the army, trying to catch the army on siege. Nice link. Gets another tank. 1 tank left. And Clem leading out 3 tanks while trying to push out. Ay, ay, ay. Likewise, Clem does stim in. Setting up his army. So they can't quite engage. And not like this. herO going for the... Of course he is. Going for the gold. Similar to the previous game. So Clem is being more aggressive. It's being more active. Still rallying out, claiming his 3rd base in the center of the map, extending towards his opponent, towards herO. The gold base doesn't really matter too much yet. It's not saturated. It's not saturated. Clem moving in. Up. Clem does move in. Mine shot's going to be going up. Brutal connection with the Zealots. Zealots they go down. And without Zealots, what is it to buffer? What is it to support? Yeah, Clem stims on forward, takes down the Stalkers, takes down the Immortals, and there's nothing left as herO is overwhelmed. And behind this, no splash damage, no Storm, no Colossus. The gold base just now getting up and running. But it's purely Zealot. It's purely Zealot reinforcements. Clem, he has broken through. Takes down the charge, also depowers the Robo. And he overwhelms. Does overwhelm the army. Oh god, god. Takes out the whole mineral line. GG gets called, herO is broken, and Clem will take the series 2-1. Taking down herO. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Clem. He will take the first series of the broadcast. Very nicely done. Again, herO, he did have a decent start initially, if you recall, when it came to breaking out, when it came to forcing a cancellation on the CC, but it was a faster cancellation as we saw Clem was able to scout ahead of time, was able to find the proxy, so he was able to respond, able to react in time. Likewise, Clem had a really great breakout when he was able to surround the army, punish the Stalkers, punish the army of herO. Even though herO had the better economy, it didn't last long, as Clem was able to break out and get across the map. Did force the boys being pulled, and we had some crazy control out of Clem when it came to his cyclones, when it came to his targeting, when it came to his juggling with that medevac as well, saving, preserving the cyclone. The cyclone was on a slither of HP, barely survived, but was getting so much value because of that, and Clem overwhelmed. With that, did crippling damage across the map and was able to follow up with the kill. Of course, herO was being cheeky, rushing into the gold base, which could have actually impacted the game, and he could have gotten out of hand if he had maintained map control. He didn't have that. Didn't have map control. He couldn't contain Clem any longer. GG. Welcome to Torches. Welcome to Torches, as Clem does break out, and Clem takes the win. With that, we do get into our second series of the broadcast. Now, I did see some people asking about when the event did take place. Of course, the May Mayhem took place at the start of May. This has been an entire month event. We had day 1, day 2, and day 3. Just to reiterate, we did live cast day 2 and day 3, but we weren't able to live cast day 1. The reason for that is we were casting KSL. It was clashing with the Korean StarCraft League. So at the time we were prioritizing the KSL, which means we weren't able to cast day 1 of this event. And no one casted day one of the event, or I should say no one casted it in English. I think Inu, he's a Korean caster, he casted this day one in Korean, but there was no English coverage, so we did gain access to those replays. And originally we weren't going to cast these events, we weren't going to cast these matches, but the playoffs for this tournament are in a couple of days, and because everyone's traveling, we had a free day, we had a free slot on our schedule. It's like, oh, you know what, it's perfect. Like, everyone's traveling, there's no live event happening right now because everyone's on a plane, everyone's in the sky, may as well catch up on matches that we missed out on at the start of the month. So here we go. With that, Clem does take the series, and now we're getting into our next best of 3 of the broadcast. As a reminder as well, this is a round robin group stage. We have 6 players. 6 players step into the ring. We have 3 Koreans and 3 Europeans, and up next we have another TVP between Cure and MaxPax. Let's go. Let us go. As once again, game 1 is going to be on Killer Smile. Do you know what time is the Pegasaur Cup? Pegasaur Cup should be in 12 hours? Around 12 hours time. It's same time every week. Sorry, I say 12 hours. It's gonna be in 13 hours. 13 hours time. So 13 hours from this message should be the Pegasaur Cup. And here we go, we're getting into our next series, our next matchup. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Killer's Mile, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing ShoWTime Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Killer's Mile, we have the red Terran player, the red Terran player himself, representing Team Liquid from South Korea. It is Cure. Opening up with the proxy Rax. Let's go. The Rax has been thrown down. Now, bearing in mind there's only one SCV, so it's only a singular proxy Rax. I believe this should be for a bunker alongside this. It's going to be proxy Reaper with a bunker. We can actually get behind the mineral line. We can delay some economy here of MaxPax, and Cure can look to get some economic damage early on. Oh boy. Here we go. Meanwhile, MaxPax does go for the probe scouts. He will go up the ramp, and he will confirm that the Rax is missing. The Rax is nowhere to be found. Both gases have been taken. This is looking suspect already. Now, there is a chance that the Rax is back at home somewhere else, but like, it could be in the natural. It could be at the third base location. Not uncommon to hide your Rax back at home. We'll see how he responds. There's that Nexus. SCV is moving in. SCV is moving in. Your big shout out to Slammer in the chat. Baby God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a good ladder session. Hope the Slammer had a good time with the hammer. In the jammer. No. Hope you had a great time. Thanks for the raid, and welcome one and all to the Mayhem, as the bunker is going to be thrown down. Was delayed by a couple of seconds there, and the probe is on that SCV, but that's what the Reaper is for. The Reaper will soon arrive, will zone that probe away, and can MaxPax delay that bunker? Can he deny the bunker? Oh! This probe is going to be targeted down. Bunker is on the way. Reaper does head into the mineral line. What else rhymes with Slammer and Hammer? What do we... But yeah, there's just not enough progression here on the bunker. It was delayed sufficiently enough, and MaxPax, he holds, he defends, he shuts down the bunker. Ideally, the bunker finishes, and then you can go into the bunker with said Reaper. You can deny mining at the mineral line for as long as possible, but last that is all denied, and so far, this proxy not really paid for itself. Ooh. MaxPax, he moves out. MaxPax, he moves out across the map. Probes are being pulled, probes are going down. Gets 1 probe kill so far. Sorry, 2 in total. 2 workers in total. Back at home, we have the CC on the high ground. Factory's on the way. And MaxPax, he does defend. Cure is going to be zoned away. And yeah, a bit of a shaky start here for Cure. He invested quite heavily here into his proxy, and what did he get for it? 2 probe kills. He got 2 probe kills. He did deny some mining time in the main base. He did force the boys to be pulled. That is true. There was a little bit of damage dealt there as well. but not ideal here for Cure. Likewise following this up with a committed mine drop. 2 mines, 4 in total on the way. Cure here will soon move out. There it is. Does commit. 4 mines on the right hand side, 2 Reapers towards the left. And we'll see if he can break through. When it comes to the defensive position here, MaxPax is going into a blink based opener. How many gates? We have 2 gates in the main, and we have 2 more gates here on the low ground. 4 gate blink Stalker. Okay, we're seeing it quite a lot here tonight. I mean, 4-gate blink is a bit of a rare build nowadays, has fallen out of favor, fallen out of the meta, but I say that with herO, he went for it earlier, and MaxPax doing it here as well. To be fair, both times we saw 4-gate blink was on Killer's Mile. Ooh. Stalker goes down. Brutal pick up there on the Stalker. Likewise, 3 pro kills as well. Not bad. herO does get some damage, but can he defend back at her? No, herO going 4-gate blink is one thing, but MaxPax, he for a time had the best 4-gate blink in the world. He was an animal. And not too long ago, that was what, 2023? Coming into early 2024. Was almost exclusively what MaxPax did in this matchup. 4-gate blink. And you could see it coming and it wouldn't matter. Of course, players over time got better at defending against it, which is why it fell out of favor in the meta, because it was so prevalent and so common. Then fell out of fashion. And what do we have to defend? We have 1 bunker here on the low ground, 1 tank in the main, but only 1 tank between both bases. And MaxPax does blink in. The other first tank is going to be targeted down. Gets 1. Tank falls, and there's nothing left. there's just nothing here. There's a handful of vanilla Marines. Another tank has arrived. The boys are being pulled, but the defensive position here is just lacking. The numbers just are not there. Max actually rotates over. The Stalkers are very low, but still alive. Medevac goes down. Max actually going for the dive. Oh, nice repairs. Does buy some time. Yeah, the repairs are good enough. So far, Curie's holding on. He's holding on. He's defending. Tanks, they rotate back into the main. A bit of a misread here. Cure, he reads this as a rotation into the main, but it's a rotation into the mineral line at the natural. And so Cure out of position. Marines are going down. Stim is done in 3 seconds. The boys are being pulled. Oh my god, 1 Stalker falls. Gets 1. Oh, that's, Jesus, the efficiency. Two Stalkers. 2 Stalkers have gone down for a tank. 12 Marines, 9 SEVs. Oh no, we're not done. We're not done. But this time, Stim is complete. 1 shot's the first tank. 2 shots the bunker. There's Stim, but there's barely any Marines. There's barely any Marines left. The Stim does not matter. Boys are being pulled. Dives on the next tank. There's 1 tank left. And Max actually just goes further in. Further into the bases. Onto that final tank as well. And, oh god, nice round. Nice positioning there with the SimCity, with the SEVs. Curie does punish some of those Stalkers. But the problem is that was crippling damage. The problem is Curie no longer has any tanks. He has no pushing power. And MaxPax back into the main. Takes down the reactor. Oh. Takes down the reactor, pulls back to the low ground. Oh. Defends the army. And behind this, MaxPax just enjoying a better economy. He's on 3 bases. We have the Bay on the way. We have +1 charge as well, working towards charge, working towards Colossus. Goes back into the main. Cure still contained. Now breaking out. Let's go. Now, what's important is that when it came to that final fight in the main base, MaxPax did bleed out a lot of Stalkers. And that means he has less to threaten Cure. The Stalker count has been lessened. It's not really there anymore. With that, Cure can take out on fight. And he's also free to drop across the map. So we'll see if we can force a recall. There we go. Does recall back home. Recalls into the main. And Cure can now expand. Thanks to the recall, thanks to this drop, he forces MaxPax back. Can now expand, claim a third base. Also rough stuff for Cure, but he's still in this. Oh, brutal snipes. And snipes on the sentries. Cure back in between the bases, at the same time prison into the natural base of Cure. But there are reinforcements. Cure defends. Does defend nicely. Explosive production has begun. Cure turns back around. Whew, okay, and after a tense early game, we have a back and forth. We have a back and forth here. Cure now establishing his third base. He's now taking up in towards Ghosts and Vikings. I will say that Cure's army is still a little bit lacking. He needs a little bit of time to actually get into his Ghost and Viking production. Until then, though, MaxPax is already embracing Colossus. Colossus are amassing. He's already getting up to 4 base saturation. Zealots are building up as well. Likewise, MaxPax also needs a little bit more time here for his upgrades. Range is still on the way. Meanwhile, MaxPax does drop back into the main, gets 2 SCVs. Ooh, that's going to be the death of the Prism. Nice cleanup. Zealot take the third. Cure's in position. Here he's in position. Does scan, is aware the main army, is aware it's not going to be Storm, it's going to be Colossus. Now making more Vikings. Oh, as Cure moves out, MaxPax moving in. Nice last second split. Does split at the last second. MaxPax trying to delay. But Cure, he's for the most part dealing with this. Does handle the run-bys. Cure moving out. Drop into the third. Oh, we got out! Form dynamic goes down. Massive pickoff. Yeah, that was not it. Max actually shuts down the drop and does move in. Nice missile here on the Colossus. The Vikings doing what they can for the Colossus. They do stand strong. Nice force fields. Just loading back the army. So much wasted DPS here. 70 Marauders just caught in the back line. And MaxPax here overwhelms across the map. 13 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it does get into the mineral lines. Cure, he races back home. 18 SCVs. And MaxPax, he barely defended back at home thanks to the force fields, thanks to the Sim City. And across the map, he just punishes the move out. 19 worker kills. Cure, he just loses the entire mineral line. His economy is just in shambles. And MaxPax, he breaks out. He breaks out, brings everything together. He's on 4 Colossus. Cure, he was recovering in this game. He was bouncing back. Nice blink, avoids the missile. And MaxPax just commits. Oh, not enough Zealots though, so he doesn't really have much support. And MaxPax here overextends. Where there's charge lots. Colossus is going to be going down. He gets 1, he gets 2. Very nice catch here from Cure. Yeah, MaxPax, he got too excited. Losing all 3, losing all 4 Colossus. Oh my god. 4 Colossus go down. And that was a brutal fight for MaxPax. Now, on the one hand, that was brutal. Like Cure, he dominated that fight. But the economy. Yeah, the economy is what matters. Cure, he's down to 43 SCVs. That was all he had. He cannot sustain himself. And MaxPax will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Y'all feels bad, man. You win that final fight, but alas, you lose the war. As again, Cure, he had no economy. He had 40 SCVs. He was essentially all in. And even though that was a good fight, the problem was that MaxPax, he can afford those losses. He was rich enough. He can afford those losses. Cure could not afford those trades. GG, well played. And with that, MaxPax takes a lead. MaxPax does take a lead. Now we'll see if Cure can recover, bounce back, and force the ace match. Let's go. And again, for the most part, MaxPax was playing really well that game. We did see, though, that towards the end, maybe misjudging the fight, we did mention that because MaxPax had so few zealots, he actually took a really rough fight across the map, despite having a larger army, a very fragile army. In lead up, though, I mean, did amazing damage with his 4 Blink Stalker, likewise able to get an economic lead, economic advantage, and gain that map control. But here we go. Now stepping into game number 2. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Persephone, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back, we'll see if he can recover. It is a Cure. Hello. As once again the SCV does move out, not as fast as last game, but SCV moves out nonetheless. From here the goal would be to go for the eBay block, as the Rax is back at home, and the SCV does sneak in. And again, this is just to disrupt the economy, just to disrupt the opener. eBay's on the way. MaxPax moving in with the probe scouts, and he will confirm the Rax is back at home this time. No proxy. Bearing in mind that last game, Cure he did initiate with the proxy Reaper, and it fell in its face. The initial bunker was denied. I mean, again, like the early game was very much so in favor of MaxPax last game. Which is why it was impressive that Cure, he recovered. He was able to recover, able to bounce back. There were definitely some better fights for Cure. I will say that. Ooh, as he does force the unnatural natural. Okay, let's go. So a couple of things. First things first, as you can see, because this eBay was scouted so late, there was just so much progression on it. Too much progression. When I say progression, so much HP. The more you build, the higher health there is here on the building eBay. So because there's just so much HP on this eBay, forced to expand elsewhere. It will just take too long to focus down and to kill the eBay. Your base will just be so heavily delayed. So MaxPax forced to expand elsewhere. And because of that, he's exposed, right? Defending your main and your third base with this entire area in between can be difficult. Your bases are spread out, they are isolated from each other. Because of that, we do see a lot of players defend with Stargate play. You could open Stargate, go Oracle. Yep, there we go. Speaking of, this is a really common response. Now the reason why is because Oracles don't care about terrain. If you open up with Stalkers, well, your Stalkers and Adepts and your ground army has to rotate back and forth between these two bases. Oracles don't care. Oracles, they just go for the direct shortest path between your bases back and forth to keep up with Hellions, to keep up with aggression. Speaking of, it is going to be reactored Hellion here out of Cure, CC on the high ground, and again, these Hellions have options. They can threaten one base or the other. They can rotate between them. Hellions, they're speedy boys. So we'll see what Cure can get done. We'll see if MaxPax can keep up. This should be an Oracle opener out of MaxPax. Yep, there we go. Oracle's on the way. And again, this should just be used defensively. Assuming that Cure would be aggressive. There are variations of this where you go for the eBay block, you force the unnatural natural, then you just play a standard game. You just play a standard game, you go into mine drops, you go into a natural base. You don't bother with Hellions. But Cure, he's bothering. Cure, he's committing. Cure does rotate. The Stalker will scout. Oracle responds. And already Hellion's taking a lot of damage. There we go. One Hellion already goes down. And you can see the Oracle can chase. The Oracle can chase this. Zoning Cure away. Does get the revelation. Oh no, we can heal up. We can heal. No. Regardless, MaxPax, he defends. He defends nicely here. Curi's forced all the way back. Behind this, we're following this up with a 3-1-1 setup. Oh my god, very aggressive. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I don't see? No starport. Typically, when we have a 3-rack setup like this, you can see that the factory was used initially for a cyclone, then into add-on swap, and insanely fast stim. Fast marauder production. Marines are amassing as well. Because the starport is delayed, there's no drop play. Because the starport is delayed, we have extra Marines. This screams at 2-base all in. Oh boy. You know what? Hellions are still being active. Probes do line up. Oh my god, 3 Hellions, a one-shot. Yeah, 7, 8 probes going down. Oracle out of position. And MaxPax's economy here is crippled. 8 probes going down. Again, all it takes is 3 Hellions to one-shot a worker. And the workers were lining up. So nice damage there out of Cure. Very nice start. And again, it's going to be the 1-2 punch. Cripple the economy. Then move in with the push, with the all-in. Now he still has to wait. He has to wait for the upgrades to finish up. Waiting for stim, waiting for combat shields. So until then, Cure, he has to just build up. Gather up his forces. MaxPax, likewise, he moves out. Remember, these are vanilla stalkers. Because the Stargate opener blink is late. So late blink here out of MaxPax. But he knows how important it is to slow down the push. So he's popping up his chest. Gets a Marine. Gets 2 Marines. Every little bit helps. Every little bit counts. So picks off 2 Marines, doesn't lose any Stalkers. Oh, he scouts. Yeah, he sees everything. Yeah, he does confirm. He sees the 3 racks. He sees how late the starport is. He knows. He knows an early sim timing is coming. There's a lot of pressure on MaxPax. Oh, bleeds out a Stalker. Bit of miscontrol. 1 Stalker goes down. Ideally, MaxPax wants to bait the army into the stasis. Behind this, getting his third base up and running. Blink is now done, of course. Getting into charge, into +1. Backup stasis on the way. And Cure looks like he's waiting for his medevacs before he pushes. So he's waiting for his medevacs. He's waiting even longer. MaxPax, he's just content to just bide his time. Contain his opponent. There's the first stim. He does bait it out. So far the control is on point. Takes down the bunker. Ooh, bleeds out one of the stalkers. It does mess up towards the end. Drop gets spotted. MaxPax, he knows. Oh my god. Speaking of, here, very nicely done. Baits out the stasis. Meanwhile, MaxPax does intercept. Warping back at him. MaxPax racing on back. Does race back, does warp in time. Ooh. So it's away the medevacs. Here he breaks out. Here he breaks out. The boys are being pulled, as you mentioned earlier when we said it does scream 2-base all in. Well, yeah, that's 2-base all in. we pull the boys. It's all or nothing for Cure. Now he has medevacs. Now he has stim. Scan reveals stasis. Stasis right behind this. Does get baited out. Once again, nice control out of Cure. Scans, sees the other stasis. Does pull back the SCVs. So far, nice control. Takes down the sentry, breaks through those zealots. He's getting on top of the stalkers. He's almost there. And barely does break through. Max actually has to pull away. Actually, does pull the boys. It does pull his own workers. Wait for an extra warp in. Charge ults are on the way. Remember, the longer this goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. He needs more time, needs more warp ins. Oh, that splits against the mines. MaxPax pulling away. Cure still has a massive army. Cure, he is doing it. He is breaking through. Takes down the third base. Once again, baits out the stasis. Cure. He's crazy. He sees everything. He's crazy. Oh my god. Winter Mines have yet to reset. And MaxPax does have his first immortal. Second immortal's on the way. MaxPax pulling back. Remember, his opponent's all in. Cure, he's down to 24 SCVs. He has to do more damage. He needs more. Another stasis goes up. Cure, he kites well. Kites well against those zealots. He just has mainly Marauder. Jeez, so many Marauders here for Cure. Pass back against the Zealots. Getting to the Immortal. The Immortal should be targeted down. Nice pickup. Takes down the Immortal. There's one left. But Cure, he's running out of steam. Again, this all-in has been lasting quite some time. And he's running out of units. Some Marauders are oversteered. Medvacs are running out of energy as well. Ay, ay, ay. And MaxPax he's holding. He's surviving. Takes down 2 more Marauders. And again, that Immortal doing so much damage to the back line. Takes down another. And there's nothing back home. Like, there's nothing to come back to. Cure down to 30 SCVs. MaxPax, he is re-expanding. And with that, the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. I mean, again, Cure, he traded well. Like, he did well for himself, breaking the 3rd base and cleaning up all the Zealots, getting on top of the Immortals, but he didn't quite get on top of the Stalkers. Didn't quite break the back of MaxPax. He was close. He was so close. Now he's gearing up for wave 2. Let's get that second wave ready. Again, there's no macroing out of this. Like, there's no getting into like a 3rd CC and making workers from here. Like, no shot. It's all or nothing. Oh no, he doesn't see it. Oh my god, Stasis goes off. Does catch 2 Marauders. Stasis does connect. Here looking for a way in. The blink control is on point. MaxPax building up more Immortals, more Sentries, more Force Fields. Takes down another Widowmine. Another Widowmine goes down. Slowly pushing forward. 9 shots going up, only on a handful of Zealots. The Force Fields, they do zone him away. Get a better engagement here for MaxPax. Picks away the Marauders. Avoids the Mine Shot. Takes down some of the Medvacs. Will we have DTs? Yeah, DTs in the mix as well. They force out more scans, and MaxPax, he will overwhelm. GG gets called. MaxPax, he shuts down the all-in, and MaxPax will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew, oh my god. GG, well played. Again, Cure, he did commit to the all-in, and again, initially he was doing well for himself. I was so impressed by his ability to deal with those stasis traps, to bait them out as well, time and time again. He did break the expansion, but time was on MaxPax's side. And again, credit to MaxPax for slowing down the all-in, for taking his time, kiting back, not fully committing, not fully engaging, bleeding out Zealots, yes, but mainly Zealots in these fights, affordable losses or expendable losses for MaxPax. With that, he was able to preserve his Stalkers, more importantly, and preserve most of his Immortals. With that, GG. GG well played. Eventually, Cure, he just ran out of steam. He ran out of units. Eventually, he just could not maintain a set all-in. And with that, MaxPax does take the series. Whew. Does take the series here, and now we're stepping into our next best of 3. Getting to our next matchup here. Up next is going to be Cure in his next series. It's going to be Cure up against herO in another Terran vs Protoss. Let's go. Let us go. The PvTs do continue here. And we'll see how Cure fares against a Korean Protoss player. Let's go. As game 1, hey, the game we just loaded into, game 1 of this series is going to be on Persephone. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. Here we go. We are going to be settling in. And again, here he's a very different kind of Protoss player. I mean, I say different. For the most part, MaxPax, he wasn't really shaking things up too much. He was reacting to his opponents. If you recall, last game was a Stargate opener, but it was only a Stargate because Cure went for the eBay block. So the Stargate was more necessary for MaxPax. That also reminds me that Cure did do a lot of damage early on with his Hellion round by. Despite that, MaxPax was able to recover with his counter Blink Stalker aggression. We'll see if Hero does open Blink instead. This time, Cure does not move out with the SCV. This time, there is no eBay block. Not this time. Here we go. So players are building up. Here we're going for his Gate, Cyber Expand, a standard opener out of Hero. And again, Cure going for an economic opener as well. Does go for a Rax Expand back across the map. So far so good, so far so standard. You see Cure fanning out, checking for a proxy, just making sure that Hero is not up to any shenanigans. Making sure that nothing is amiss. Hello, as Cure, he does open up Rax Expand into Factory into DC. What I see, second Rax. Second Rax is on the way, which means there's a very high chance we're going to see a third Rax as well before Snarport. If we see a third Rax, we're setting up for what should be a committed buyer timing, early sim timing, 2-base all in. But we'll see. I mean, this could still be a 2-1-1, true. This could still be a Starport right after this instead of the third Rax. There's still a chance that Cure heads into a different direction. But already very aggressive. Tech Lab on the way there on that factory. We'll see how this all does piece together. Hallucination Scout does get in. And gets into the main and does scout the ranks. Big scout, big moment here for Hero. He does find the hidden racks. Is now aware of how aggressive this is. Is aware that there's no drop play. There's no Metamax, there's no Starport, there's no drop play yet. As we're actually keeping the Tech Lab on that factory. Okay, going for the Cyclone early on. I would imagine into early tank production. Different variation out of Cure, and this will shut it down. Dark Shrine. Aye. So as you can imagine, in general, but in PvT, if you read an all-in coming your way, like a 2-base all-in, then a Dark Shrine is almost a hard counter. Why is that? Scans are limited. Scans are very limited here for the aggressing Terran player, especially when you're going all-in, because you want a mule. Like, your economy is going to be limited to begin with, right? You have a very limited economy. Hallucination doubles down. Hallucination confirms. Third Rax. Third Rax, no Starport. Again, this screams 2-base all-in. And again, scans are not going to be an easy resource to have here for Cure. So very strong response here from Hero. Going for the Dark Templar. And for the time being, Cure is unaware. He is unaware. As he's still just working towards Stim, building up his Marines. And currently there's no scan. I mean, there wouldn't be. As we mentioned, DTs are warping in. Here come the Dark Templar. Hero takes a third base. In the face of the all-in, doesn't even care. Dark Templar, they're waddling in. Alright, scans. Currently there's no scan. There's about to be one scan in the main. There's about to be a scan. And if Hero goes in too soon, do we mule? That Templar waddles in. There's a scan. Does notice. Whew, keen eyes. Yo, we saw last series Cure see the shimmer of the stasis traps time and time again. Here he does notice the shimmer of the Dark Templar, but alas, there's still 3 Dark Templar. Oh my god. So far, 6 SCV kills. Turret does complete, but the DT is outside of range. Does force another scan. And we have another Dark Templar. Another one waiting. And the problem here is that, sure, we're scanning, we're defending on 2 bases, but it also means that if Cure were to push, I mean, this would happen. We can just chip away at the Marines, at the Bio Army. There's a recall. Does recall in time. And Cure, yeah, he's going for the Atom Assault. What's it for? Raven. He has to delay his push and wait for a Raven before he can move out. Otherwise, DTs will shut him down across the map as well. And again, this just delays this all in for so long. Cure building up, herO building up more charge lots, getting into blink. Charge also a really good opener as well. Charge is designed to shut down tank-based all-ins. So if Cure committed, there'd be plenty of cells to wait for him. Blink is going to be delayed, but that's fine. Here comes the move out. Here comes the all-in. As it's all or nothing for Cure. The boys are being pulled. And I definitely have something to say after this series. We'll get into it later. For now, though, is moving out. It does commit. The boys have arrived. Cure pushing forward. Likewise, they'll say collapse of the army. The tanks are on siege. Yeah, brutal force fields. Marines are going down. And here just has to take it slow. Just take it slow. He just dealt with half the bio counts, half the Marines. Pulls away, waits for extra warp ins, and then engages once again. Just taking it slow. The DTs are moved into the Archon. Once again, collapsing on the tanks. Order Tower does help support, but the first tank goes down, second tank goes down, and the final tank as well. Here he shuts down the all-in. And there is another wave. There's another wave here for Cure. Does keep pushing. Oh god, but there are just so many zealots. And again, we spoke about it. Like charge, let's say, shut down tank-based all-ins so hard. As you can see here, they just chase down Cure. Remember, there's no medivacs, there's no support. GG gets called, and herO, he shuts down the all-in. Takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played here. He does take a lead in this series. Does take the first game. Oh boy. And again, Persephone does favor all-ins. We did see Cure go for the all-in in the previous game as well, but the unfortunate reality here is it got scattered. Like here, he saw everything from the beginning, from the get-go. The first hallucination was the MVP. It allowed herO to confirm what was going on, to confirm the extra racks, to confirm the late starport, and here he immediately reacted, immediately responded with a Dark Shrine. And as we mentioned, that is a way to almost hard counter these 2 base all-ins. It didn't kill Cure, but it did delay, it did contain, did force out scans, did force him to make a Raven as well, did force him to be more defensive, and every second that passed was in favor of herO. Again, against an all-in, or when you're all-inning, time is working against you. And with that, herO is able to buy a lot of time. That GG well played. Now we're stepping into game number 2. We'll see if Cure can bounce back and force the ace match, or if herO can claim it here and now, as we jump into Killer's Mile. Here we go. We go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner here of a Killer's Mile, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid down in the series. We'll see if he bounces back. We'll see if he can force the ace match. Oh my god, what's happening? It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss, going for a proxy in the center of the map. Ay, ay, ay. For Twisted Minds, it is herO. Let him cook, papi. Let him cook. What is happening? What is happening? Ay, ay, ay. As we do set up a dead set in the middle of the map. With this, it does mean that the initial Zealot, initial Stalker is going to be faster across the map, of course. We do see a double gas opener. Interesting. So double gas opener out of Cure. I was going to say that ideally, I want to say that this is designed to hard counter or to shut down a more economic opener, to shut down the CC on the low ground. But as we can see, it's going to be a delayed command center, a faster racks, and a faster factory. So a more aggressive build here by Cure. And we'll see how herO responds, because I mean, like, he's already committed. Like, there's no turning back from this. Like, there's no, Cybercore is back at home, I suppose. True. Zealot's being chronoed as we speak. And so hero's just being as annoying as possible in the main. There's a factory on the way. It's going to be Reaper first to add a Cure. I would imagine Reaper into add-on, into Reactor. And you can see that here, yeah, he has to hold back with a Zealot. Like, there's nothing to do here. Again, if it was a faster CC, the Zealot would be delaying. The Zealot would be on that command center. But right now, he has to wait. He has to pull back. Like, there's nothing to achieve right now. And he's banking up his units. There we go. Second Zealot. Now we have a Stalker being chronoed as we speak. He's still waiting. Waits out the Reaper. Reaper moves out. Zealots move in. And now he can go for the wall. Now he can go for the wall. Reaper's out of position. Again, nice movement here by herO. Does outposition Cure. I mean, Cure didn't know. And Cure, remember, he did an SCV scout. I mean, that's the price you pay. That can be the price you pay. As Reactor's under fire. Does catch fire even. First SCV goes down. And Reaper's racing back home. Gets a second SCV. Gets 2, gets 3. 3 SCV kills. Getting up to 4. Hellion arrives. A Hellion tickles the army. Bunker's on the way. Second Stalker's moving in. The bunker is going to be denied. Uh-oh. And Stalkers, they can go for the main army. They can at least try it. As they get another SCV. Likewise, they pick off the Marines. Getting another... Oh my god, almost. Bunker finishes. Whew. Bunker does finish in time, and Cure holds. Cure, he holds on. What were the trades so far? 6 SCVs, 1 Marine for 2 Zealots and a probe. As we go here by herO. Behind this herO, he expands. Twilight Council's on the way. herO, he is, of course, building up into a longer game state. So far, good damage, and the ideal here is to contain on one base. Cure, he has a CC on the high ground, but when can he expand? Reaper does bypass. Reaper does sneak out across the map. Let's go. Reaper sneaks out. Probe is exposed. Reaper breaks in. Ooh. Gets another probe. Gets 1 worker, but the Reaper does full. We have Blink on the way behind this. What do we have? We have 2 gate Blink. And again, remember, the goal for herO is to contain. He doesn't have to push into the main. Doesn't have to push into the main base. Just contain the Terran player on one base for as long as possible. As they do come across each other. Cyclone has to get the hell out of here. Has to pull away. herO is in position. He's set up. Hellion does sneak out across the map. Nicely done. Gets 1 probe. Gets 1. Gets 2. 2 workers go down. Hellion slipping into the main. Is cleaned up. So far, so good. Here he does re-expand. Meanwhile, how many gates do we have? We have a 3rd base behind this. So it's 2 gate Blink into a 3rd. Economic opener out of herO. Following it up with a 3rd gateway and a forge. Here he has Blink. With high ground vision, he can just go straight to the main. Tanks are on the low ground. The main base is exposed. He's going for it. A little bit too soon. Blink is 1 second away. There we go. Blink does complete. Dies on the add-ons. Tech Lab goes down. We're trading with the Marines. Marines are going down. Oh, the Raven! Oh my god, Raven gets sniped as well. That's big off there by herO. herO bleeds out 1 Stalker, 2 in total. 2 Stalkers go down. Ooh, bleeds out a 3rd Stalker. herO does get clipped by that tank. Likewise, another Stalker goes down. Oh, and another. Yeah, herO does overextend. Bit of miscontrol. Getting a little bit too excited. herO bleeds out Stalkers. Behind this, throwing down his gateways. Getting into charge as a follow-up. And herO, he is looking to stabilize. He's not there yet. Like, herO's still been down a base the entire game. Still been heavily delayed. Ooh. As the drop is cleaned up. Drop is cleaned up. Standard follow-up here again, just heavily reliant on a gateway composition. With these gases being taken, now herO can start working towards a Bay into Colossus. Or towards a Temple Archives and into Storm. Either or. As here comes a breakout, and what do we have to work with behind this 3rd CC? Okay, not a 2-base all in. Getting into a 3rd CC, building up to extra Raxes, working towards stim, combat shields, everything is delayed, and he is being spotted. Oh, where is he? Yo, he threads the needle. Oh my god, that was crazy. In between the Stalkers and the Zealots, he does sneak out, and he will find the Chargelots. I mean, the Chargelots find him. Jesus. Oh, the Chargers will find him. The Stalkers as well. Medevac taking a lot of hits. herO thankfully does reinforce. Does reinforce. This gateway is still up and running, by the way. Just because this entire game, herO, he has not moved out. So the only thing moving out across the map was the initial drop that we saw just previously, the Reaper and the Hellion. Like, there's just been no main army move out yet. This entire game has been contained back at home. We have more pylons on the way to scout to confirm what's going on. That's a massive amount of Zealots. That's a lot of Chargelots. The Swarm Toss is here. And behind this, there are a couple of Widow Mines. There's 2 mines with the main army. But that's are unsieged. They're unburrowed. Takes down 1. There's 1 Widow Mine left. 1 Widow Mine remaining. Missile goes up. Oof. Clips the army. Here he does break out. He finally deals with the proxy. Let's go. I'm afraid to. How many Zealots? 32! 32 Chargelots. Colossus are building up. We have +2 on the way. Double upgrades, double forge. Here, the Zealots move out across the map. Uh-oh. Does move out the Chargelots. He's not at home. Nice force field, slowing down the push. He's defending with a bare minimum. The base is going to go down. At the same time, Zealots do get across the map. They bust into the 3rd. They bust into the natural. There are tanks back at him to defend. That's a lot of that's a lot of tanks. Zealots turn around. They catch reinforcements. They catch never never mind. We just run past. Never mind. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I mean, free damage trying to cure. Back at home, with brutal damage though. How many SCVs? 24. 24 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Does cripple the economy, and herO is not building out of control. Even though he may have lost some free damage there, even though he could have caught reinforcements and caught the rally, regardless, herO has a massive lead. He can afford to just walk next to the Terran. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Might just going off, brutal connections, but last is just not enough on the ground. The tanks are targeted down instantly. 1, 2, 3 tanks go down. The Colossus just rain down from behind. Oh, Stalkers do overextend. Remember, without Zealots, this army's quite vulnerable. Swinging up, gets one Colossus. Takes down one. And barely does get the second Colossus. Oh, just barely. But that's it. That's all that we had left. The army just melts. There's medevacs remaining. GG gets called, and herO will take the series 2-0, taking down Cure. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO, he does claim the series again. A very, very aggressive game 2 out of herO, bearing in mind that herO, he started things over with a proxy gateway, and I love the opener in the sense that herO, as we mentioned, initially a proxy gateway is designed to punish a faster CC, a Rax expand, an economic opener. But we didn't have an economic opener. Cure, he went double gas. He went for a delayed CC, so the Zealots couldn't really do anything. So what did herO do? He banked up the Zealots. He kept them hidden from the Reaper. He got up to 1, got up to 2 Zealots, then he pulled the trigger, and with that he was able to pick away at the reactor, able to force the boys to be pulled. SCVs were being sniped as a result. The bunker was delayed, Marines were going down. herO, he still found damage nonetheless, and from there, then he went into 2-gate blink, into a contain, where he contained his opponent for as long as possible. herO from there just got a booming economy, faster third base, faster fourth base. With that economy, mass charge lot, delayed Colossus, mass charge lot, and Cure just had a really hard time breaking out, a really hard time expanding. GG, well played. Things are a little bit chaotic, as is being said in the chat. Thought it was going to go for this round, but the Zealots, they were like, we need to get home. Yes, they had their priorities. They ignored the rally, they ignored the reinforcements. They could have gotten some more damage there, but it's fine, it's fine. herO, he dealt with the army regardless, and with that, GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we are halfway through the broadcast. I say halfway through, more than halfway through. We are 3 matches deep, and we have 5 in total. As we switch our scenes over and catch up on our matches here tonight on our 5 best of 3s. We just wrapped up with 3 of them. We had Clem taking down herO 2-1. Did go to the ace match. Was a back and forth between Clem and herO. Then we had MaxPax versus Cure. Did go in favor of MaxPax. That was also a bit of a closer one, if you recall. Also on Killer's Mile. Also on Persephone. We had Cure being hyper aggressive as well in his own way with his all-ins. Likewise, we saw that here against herO as well. All-in game 2, and in game 1 was Cure going for the all-in. Game 2 was herO being the aggressor instead. Oh, my apologies. I should fix up that scoreline. Hold on. There we go. As herO did take down Cure 2-0. And up next, we do have 2 more matches remaining here. It is going to be SHIN versus MaxPax and Cure versus ShoWTimE. As a reminder, this is a round-robin group. Everyone plays against everyone eventually, so it is all against each other. SHIN is the one lone Zerg player in said group, so we're going to be featuring him next. And again, Cure still has 1 more Protoss to play against. Or I guess 2 more Protosses, which we already covered last time. Cure, of course, it went up against Clem's Protoss. I think it was in like day 3, if not mistaken. So non-stop TVPs there for Cure. For now, though, as we are now more than halfway through the broadcast, we're going to be going on a short break. Here. Take this time to drain your disruptors, massage your Marines, hydrate all of your hydras, and drain your disruptors. We're going to be back soon in a couple of minutes here with our second half of the broadcast, with our final 2 best of 3s of the broadcast with SHIN and MaxPax. That'll be up next after the break. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. Welcome back to the Mayhem group stage, day number 1 replay cast. Just to reiterate once again, we did cover day 2 and day 3 live, but we missed out on day 1 at the time we were covering a different tournament, a different event. But because currently everyone is in the sky when it comes to pro players, they're all traveling currently back from Dallas. Today there is no live event, so may as well catch up on events that we missed out on. Catch up on the replays of day 1. Let's go. Just before the playoffs, of course. Now, I did see someone in the chat asking about tomorrow's broadcast. Originally, we were going to be covering the Mayhem playoffs tomorrow, but EWC qualifiers were announced, and I believe they are clashing with the playoffs of the Mayhem, so we might be rescheduling. We'll try to figure out what's going to go on and what's going to happen with the playoffs of the Mayhem. Otherwise, we're going to be jumping into our fresh series into game number 1. Let's go. SHIN versus MaxPax is going to be coming up next. Game 1 is going to be on Pylon. Here we go. As we're going to be featuring our first and only Zerg player of the broadcast. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pylon, we have our Danish Protoss player. We have our blue Protoss representing Snystorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself from South Korea, representing Weibo Gaming. It is SHIN. We go. As we are going to be settling in. And again, SHIN, he does have his own unique style here of ZVP, and especially at the start of the patch, at the start of the season, we did see SHIN actually take down MaxPax multiple times, but a lot of it was with more quirky builds, with more aggressive styles. We'll see how SHIN will approach MaxPax now, many months later here, as MaxPax, of course, is one of the best Protoss players in the world. SHIN, likewise, is going to try to take up the mantle of Dark. You know, currently, there's a void when it comes to the hierarchy of top Zerg players in Korea. We have, of course, SHIN, Solar, and Rogue kind of vying for that number 1 spot, vying to kind of take out that mantle and you know, show us the light, show us the way when it comes to Korean Zerg play. And again, SHIN, he has his own unique style and unique approach to things. He has his own more specialized builds. He has his own, definitely is more stylistic and is separate apart from both Solar and Rogue. We often see a lot of more aggressive builds here in ZVP, and speaking of, so far does open with a delayed gas. Hatch pull into a much later gas geyser out of shit. Okay. So it does open up. With this, he'll be able to embrace faster queens, more delayed link speed, and we might even skip link speed. We'll keep an eye on SHIN when it comes to what is done with his gas. Now he does saturate. MaxPax just being as annoying as possible. MaxPax, before he did scout, he is aware of the later gas, of the later link speed. And back at him settling in. Gate expand into cyber core. So standard opener out of MaxPax, pylons in place. That looks like a Stargate opener out of our Protoss player. Again, MaxPax, he doesn't really want to deviate too much into Twilight Council play. We have seen MaxPax play Glaive Adepts a couple of times, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a rare sight. Is more of a rarity. SHIN claiming his third. Does claim his third base. From here, we should be seeing our Oracle on the way. And welcome one all to Pylon. Pylon is known for all-ins, is known for aggression. We have seen a lot of German taxis on this map. We've seen a lot of Wing Queen walks across the map as well. I'm not saying that SHIN has to go for an all-in, but this map does favor that kind of play and that kind of style. So that is going to be an option that's going to be available to SHIN. As we rarely see longer games on this map. Adept pokes in, Adept pulls away. And the SHIN are just droning, just saturating. We'll see how he commits in. Likewise, Lings, they do poke it across now. They get eyes on the third base. So far, the Queens are keeping up with the Oracles. Spores are on the way. And Link 3 does complete. So far, so good. Decent hull damage on the Oracle. Again, nothing too crazy yet so far. Just a standard setup here to MaxPax going for his third base. From here, we should be seeing a Forge and a Twilight Council into plus on a Blink Stalker. SHIN, he is building up some more links to threaten across the map. No drones yet at the third. MaxPax does confirm that's a lot of Lings in production to 18 Lings. We spoke earlier about Link Queen Walk across the map. He's going for it. Yeah, he's going for the all-in. So Link Queen Walk is upon us. Is one of the possibilities I did mention at the start. Alongside a German taxi, of course. Oh no! As the Oracle does rally in, takes a lot of hits, does not go down, but takes a lot of damage. And back at him, what do we have to defend? Again, the third base is exposed, but it's not about the third, it's about the natural. As SHIN is looking to at least deny the expansion. Oracle pokes in. Adept is going to go down. Queens are waddling forward. Behind this, SHIN is going for a lair. Lings, they pull away. Pull away, they get a strand. Oh! They at least try to. Queens, it takes a while, but they finally get here. They do get across the map. Lings, they surround the expansion. Behind this, SHIN is droning. SHIN, he's droning up. He will break the third. And MaxPax, he can't stop this. He can't save the third base. Link is on the way. Spore is done back at home. The Oracle gets no damage. And from here, SHIN should just walk back. Yeah. From here, he's just waddle back home. And now it's on SHIN to drone up as hard as possible. Lings, they can't break the natural. MaxPax, a little bit greedy, does expand. SHIN, he doesn't notice yet. Rotates over. I don't think SHIN can stop this, though. He's going for it. Oh, yeah, no quite. Too many Oracles, too much energy. SHIN has to respect it. Pulls away. From here, SHIN is going into Link Hydra. Hydra then is in production. Gases are being taken. And SHIN going up to 5 gases. Now, because of all the damage that SHIN has dealt, it would make sense here for SHIN to go for a 3-base all-in. We should be seeing a 4th base just for Larva, and then SHIN just drone up to around 66, and then just commit. That would make the most sense, but we'll keep an eye on SHIN. Likewise, MaxPax is in a rough position. MaxPax, the pressure's on to get some damage done across the map. Blink is just now about to finish, and MaxPax, he needs to be active. Speaking of 3-base all-in, SHIN does go for the forward base. The advantage of this base, of course, is the high-yield gas. The high-yield gas geyser is available. Lings, they collapse forward. Nice stasis. Stasis goes up. Oracles, they don't activate. Hydras are revealed. MaxPax, he trades well initially. It's not bad. Now pushing forward. SHIN once again does start to step forward. Oh, nice around. He does catch 2 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down, getting up to 4. Very nice damage. Catches out 4 Stalkers. Here, SHIN does pull away. Once again, locking down the army. Oh. Stasis goes off. SHIN started stepping in. Catching out. Oh my god. Barely catching out a Stalker. Stalker goes down. MaxPax, he pulls away. He bled out a lot of Stalkers trying to be active. And look at the drone count. SHIN is getting up to 70 workers. There it is now going for that high-yield gas geyser. Hydra upgrades on the way, plus on melee, Baneling speed. And he should be maxing out on Ling Bane Hydra. So we go. So far, SHIN being active. Here we go, we have Link Bane setting up here on the left-hand side. Again, SHIN is cutting workers here at 74. Does have the boosted economy with those high yield gas geysers. Baneling's going to be rolling in. Oh! Baiting at the stasis traps. Baneling's do roll forward. MaxPax still trying to recover after the early game. Still trying. High Templar goes down. Banelings, they don't quite get into the mineral line, but they trade well regardless. They catch High Templar. Storm popping up. Not bad. Banelings up. They do break through. Yeah, they break through. 0 High Templar remaining. Lings, they collapse on the Stalkers. And SHIN has done it. SHIN, he has done it. He has broken MaxPax. Again, just a really rough start here for the Danish Protoss. To have lost the third base, to have fallen to the initial Link Queen push, and GG gets called. SHIN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG well played. A spicy start here out of SHIN to open up with the initial Link Queen walk. Again, as you mentioned, Pylon is known for this. I say known for this, known for aggression. We spoke about your German taxis. We spoke about Link Queen walks across the map. They can be very effective on this map. Why? The rush distance by ground is really short. It's also very direct. It's also, it takes a couple of steps to go from your natural to the third base of your opponent. Doesn't take long at all. And unfortunately, MaxPax, he wasn't able to really get anything ready for it. He was going for a bit of a later Twilight Council, a bit of a later Forge, so later Blink. We saw that he was being active with his Oracles, but he couldn't really muster an army to protect his third base. The third base, it was a lost cause. It was a lost cause. With that, GG. GG well played. SHIN does take a lead, and now we're stepping into game number 2. Let's go. Stepping into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Incorporeal. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if you can bounce tackle, see if you can force the ace match. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner with a cheeky build in the last game. Catching off guard with the Link Queen walk across the map. We have the South Korean Zerg player leading the series 1-0, representing Weibo Gaming. It is SHIN. Webito Gaming. Let's go. Shout out to Monster. To appreciate it. As we do settle into Incorporeal, one of the larger maps in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. When it comes to the build that we saw at SHIN last game, we do not expect to see another Link Queen walk. We don't expect it, not on a map as large as Incorporeal. Likewise, we do see that the 3 and 4 base setup here is a little bit more spread out, and it can be a little bit more difficult here to defend, but in general, your 3 base setup is very secure on this map, on Incorporeal. So I do favor MaxPax getting into the mid game here, and we'll see how SHIN will adjust his approach. This is not a bad map for Mutas, for example. We have seen SHIN embrace Muta play many a time in ZVP. Likewise, we could go for a 3 base kind of all-in instead, a 3 base max out on Link Bane Hydra, which is what we saw last game, but we could initiate with that instead of spending time early on with Link Queen. We'll see. We shall see. So far, we have our initial openers. This time, we're going for a more standard gas timing. Last game, it was delayed gas. This time, earlier. So we can embrace earlier link speed. So here we go. Likewise, the player's just setting up. Stargate has been thrown down in the main. Gonna be setting up. Likewise, just going to be the Oracle opener initially. Just Oracle opener into the third base. Like, again, MaxPax, he doesn't really want to deviate too much. He doesn't really want to mix up his openers too hard. As I mentioned before, like, it is not uncommon for MaxPax to go, like, Stargate into a third base, into earlier Twilight Counter into Glaives. Sure, that's going to be available to him. That is still an option. But outside of that, we should just be seeing a standard style. Ooh, as MaxPax does go for the triangular third. Interesting. Does set up on the low ground. Low ground setup. Third base now being taken from from SHIN. He's going for his own third. Likewise, setting up, getting ready for the Oracles. Spore is not yet done. Oracle gets 1, 2 drones, getting up to 3. Not bad. 3 workers going down. Meanwhile, there's the Twilight Council. Twilight Council has been placed. Meanwhile, we are waiting for the Forge. As we are building up to 3 gates so far. Building up to 4 gateways. I don't see a Forge yet. Now, this could just be a delayed Forge and early Blink. Otherwise, if there's no Forge entirely, we can go into Glaive Adepts. Did mention that is something that MaxPax does mix in every now and then. Oracle does hit the third. Takes down 2 drones. Does pull away. Late Forge. Okay, late Forge should be Blink. So not Glaive, should be Blink here out of MaxPax. With this, it's going to be a safer opener. This means if SHIN were to go for something like a 2-base all-in, something like what we saw previously, it would mean that Blink would be done in time. Or Blink would be done in the middle of the fight. So earlier Blink, later upgrade, later Forge, for later +1. MaxPax securing his third. Across the map, +1 Carapace. Okay, interesting. So that's a peculiar start here. Lings, they do get across the map, but essentially, when it comes to the Evo Chamber, when it comes to upgrades, usually fast Evo Chamber screams +1 melee. +1 melee would indicate just Ling Hydra, where the player just skips roaches, a denial of roaches, a skipping of roaches, and just going straight into Ling Hydra. +1 range would indicate more of a heavy Hydra composition instead, going for like a Hydra all-in. +1 Carapace, I'm a little bit less familiar with in this matchup, just because the Carapace upgrades are typically a little bit less effective. Just because of the high damage output of Protoss units. I want to lean towards like maybe like Ling Roach Ravager, I suppose. That would make the most sense. Or even just Ling Ravager. MaxPax moving in. Stasis traps are set up. So far trading well. Blink is done in a couple seconds. Ooh, another stasis is baited. And SHIN is not droning. SHIN, he's not droning, not taking gases. This does look like a Ling Ravager. This is a ZVZ build. Okay. Ravagers are trying to morph in. And I don't think SHIN is going to drone up any further. We'll keep an eye on him. But he's not taking his gases. And not taking his gases. Collapse on the army. Stasis once again goes off. And the stasis traps are brutal. Ling's going to be forced back. SHIN, he does drone up a little bit. We have 2 drones on the way. So somewhat droning. MaxPax still trading well. Picking off roaches. And now SHIN is taking up, going into +2 Carapace. What is happening? Okay. This is when we're playing the long game, and the plan is going to kind of splitting into ultras. True. That's the plan. Lings they surround the zealots, getting on top of the third base. Causing a little bit more chaos. Which is likewise pushing forward, building up. Coming from behind. I mean, a decent amount of Stalkers are going down. But but SHIN cannot chase. Behind this, SHIN, he droned up to 73, so he's getting up to 4 base saturation, not bad. He has a decent economy. Behind this, going into Roach Hydra. And again, I guess Scarabase does affect and does bolster both Lings, Roaches, and Hydras. All things Zerg. The best way, but does support them all. Roaches, they get spotted. Jeez, that's a lot of that's a lot of Storm. That's how many? That's 6 High Templar. This is the problem here with going into Carapace like this, is that you know what doesn't care about your Carapace upgrades? Storm. Storm does not care. Oh my god. Like, Lings, Banelings, and Hydra alike, they will fall to the Storm. Roaches, they can tank, and I guess they're going to be tankier against the Storm. I suppose. But I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced, but let's go. Let's go. Fleet Beacon's on the way, MaxPax embracing Skytoss, or at least the mothership. Has one Fleet Beacon on the way, Prism into the main. Does unload. Meanwhile, the armies, they pass by each other. As SHIN going for the third, and MaxPax out in the open, forced back home. Nice storming on the Hydras. Another storm goes off. Oh, and it's going to be a one-way trip. SHIN, he has to get out of here. Army gets spotted, tries to engage. But again, that's so many High Templar. That's 7 High Templar. Probes are going to be going down, but so are drones. And storm on the Roaches, storm on the Hydras. Across the map, Celtics wreak havoc. They overwhelm the middle line, 21 drone kills. And MaxPax, he will win this main army fight as well. Oh, trying to get on top of the High Templar. Gets one, gets two. Oh, not bad. Nice pickups. Takes down all the High Templar. Does force in the Archons. That was still 22 drone kills. MaxPax still has an economy. SHIN, lesser. SHIN is down 10 workers. SHIN, he lost his army. At least he was able to reset the High Templar counts, but they just warp in. That does go down. Is this from Wardy? This is from the Mayhem. This is not a Wardy tournament. From my understanding, these matches have not been casted in English, only in Korean. From my understanding, yeah. Wardy casted him. He has the Wardy May tournament, which is not the Mayhem. There's also the Rex March Madness, which is not the Mayhem either. It's oh no. MaxPax dropping into the main. Likewise, the main army's going to be collapsing in. Storm does zone. SHIN. Oh god, Jesus. He wants a High Templar. Another storm. Oh, no, he goes through the storms. Yeah, GG gets called. GG gets called as he does go through every single storm. Again, SHIN behind this, he was all in. He had no economy, and MaxPax, he will shut him down, tying up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. With that, MaxPax does have the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Let's go. We're going into game 3. And again, SHIN, he had a unique style here. Again, I'm not too familiar with embracing and rushing into Carapace the way that he did. It did feel a little bit different. It did feel like, I mean, it's something that you see a lot more in other matchups against Terran or against Zerg. The reason why you rarely see prioritization of Carapace upgrades against Protoss is because of the high impact damage of Protoss units, of the Colossus, of the Immortal, of Storm, of Archons. Carapace upgrades, they're not really as meaningful because of that. The attack rate of most Protoss units is quite low, and the attack damage output is quite high, so again, Carapace just isn't really useful. Typically, there are some niche situations, some niche scenarios. I think an example of that is Carapace upgrades are useful in Hydra versus Interceptor, or Hydra versus Carrier. because interceptors have a have a higher attack rate and a lower damage output, it does mean that carapace is a lot more impactful against units like an interceptor, for example, in that kind of specific dynamic. So there are situations like that where it can be useful, but in general, less so. And yeah, it was interesting to see that kind of style. We saw that SHIN, he was a lot more committed going into Roach Hydra with that, and alas, wasn't quite able to pull it off. Was maybe hoping for a longer game state, but we saw that the Zealot Rumble was brutal. As SHIN was pushing, he lost 22 drones across the map, and he never recovered from that. He was just torn apart. And MaxPax, he was able to maintain his economic lead and tech up in towards Skytoss and just get into a longer game. MaxPax looking a lot more comfortable in game 2, especially compared to game 1. And now we go to the ace match. Let's go. We're stepping into game 3. Game 3 is going to be on Persephone. Let us go. As we are getting into the ace match. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Weibo Gaming. It is SHIN. Here we go. As we're here, we're back in the ace match. Welcome to Persephone. Persephone is a more aggressive map of the map. We spoke earlier how Incorporeal is one of the larger maps, does allow you to have a more secure 3 and 4 base setup, and MaxPax was very secure in the last game. He was a little more comfortable building up into the mid game, but here we're on Persephone. This is where the rush distance by air is shorter, the rush distance by ground is also shorter as well. Aggression is more favored on this map, and we'll see what SHIN goes for. My eyes are mainly going to be on SHIN here. Game 1, we did see a Ling Queen all-in. We don't expect to see that again, but we could see a German taxi, we could even see a standard game into mutas. Muta play is viable on this map because that shorter rush distance by air. That's also going to be an option available here to SHIN. We'll see. We shall see. Meanwhile, MaxPax just going for a safer build last game. As a reminder, he went for earlier Blink, earlier than normal. Went for earlier Blink Stalker. He went for delayed Forge and delayed +1 upgrades in favor of faster Blink. With that, he was able to be more aggressive, more safer, or just more safe. We'll see where this takes us. Once again, pylon gets thrown down. Pylon placement does scream Stargate opener, as typically we throw down a little bit further back if we wanted to hide a Twilight Council. Typically. So it looks like a standard start out of MaxPax. No surprise there. Back at home, SHIN droning, SHIN saturating. From here does pull out of gas, getting into Ling speed, third base is on the way. There's that Stargate open that we did mention. Again, the pylon placement did scream Stargate, so far so standard. With this, we're working towards a third base. But then that's when we start to diverge. You know, what is going to be the timing of the Twilight Council? What's going to be the timing of the Forge? What's going to be the upgrade of choice from MaxPax? Likewise, we'll see if SHIN goes for the early Evo Chamber, if he goes into another upgrade again. This time, I'd be surprised if we see early Carapace again. We'll see. Leaning more towards melee or range, depending on the timing. That's a lot of Lings. That's 14 Lings on the way. We're cutting workers here at 27. As that's going to be a lot of Zerglings here. It looks like we're still droning up behind this. So these Zerglings, they're going to be on their own. They're not going to be supported by Queens. And the goal of these Lings is to, I would imagine, delay the third. Speaking of, the third base has just been thrown down. And here comes SHIN to force a cancel. So SHIN does go for the Ling Flood. And again, this is not designed to kill. It's designed to cancel. Oh, the Overlord trying to drag the Stalker out of position. Lings, they're moving in. They're going in a really interesting direction is what I will say, and the Overlord does go down. Stalker walks back. Lings don't quite catch anything. But they will wait for... they're waiting for the Oracle. Yeah, okay, so they're waiting for the Oracle. The Oracle, of course, was providing high ground vision. The Oracle leaves, and Lings are ready to dive in. There we go, Oracle is now revealed. Meanwhile, behind this, only one Oracle. Uh-oh. Very fortunate for SHIN. Only one Oracle. The Oracle does get into the base. At the same time, Lings they get us around. MaxPax going for it. Faster Robo into Archons. This feels like a Temple Archives. For now, massive surround denies the third base. Very fortunate here from SHIN. If there was a second Oracle, the Oracle would have defended. First one races back home. SHIN pulls away. Yep, as we mentioned, it is going to be Archons. But that does mean that Max actually does fall behind. It does lose his third. Ay, ay, ay. Again, very fortunate for SHIN. There was only a single Oracle opener. From here, we're working towards an Archon drop. The Prism is on the way. The way this works is the Prism is lined up with the Temple Archives. By the time the Prism gets across the map, the Temple Archives is done, and you can warp in the High Templar for Archons. But again, this is going to hit later than usual, and likewise, the economy is also stifled. Behind this, SHIN is just droning. SHIN is just droning up. Saturating his third. Here come the Archons. Oh, they're now morphing in. And here comes that Archon drop. Again, if you see a Twilight Council with a Robo, that does typically mean Archons. Prism into the main. Queens are keeping up. Ooh, does get a Queen, not bad. Takes down a Queen. And doesn't quite get the other. Ooh, SHIN does pull away. And behind this, going for this. Okay, going for the Spire in the midst of all this. We did mention that Mutaplay is viable here on Persephone. We also said it was viable on Incorporeal. Oh. Lings to get us around. Now, the reason why Mutaplay is often seen as a response to Archon drops is because what does an Archon drop mean? That means, one, no additional Stargate production, but also no blink. Like, you do not go blink after an Archon drop, you go Archon drop into charge. That is like the typical trajectory when it comes to tech. When it comes to how gas is being spent and how minerals are being spent. So there's less of a response, less of an answer to Mutas. Because there are no blink stalkers. Of course, it is risky because there's a window, right? There's a window in time where MaxPax could just go for a 3-base all-in. He could move out with Archons and Chargelots and Storm and try to break SHIN before Mutas hit the field. But the Spire's almost done. The Spire's almost done. And MaxPax is not really ready for any kind of move out. He's still building up. You can see he's setting up defensively. That's a lot of stasis traps. It's a lot of stasis traps. The Archon's being active, but the Archon is not scouting. There are 9 Mutas on the way. Now SHIN, does he go for the Prism, or does he ignore the Prism and just go across the map? I mean, the Prism would be secure damage. You see the Mutas are backing up. Overlord goes down. Mutas, yeah, they avoid the Prism. They're going for the bases. What do we have at home to defend? We have a cannon somewhat in the main. We have a cannon also covering the natural as well. So we have some decent defensive setups here. MaxPax, good read. In the sense that he knows that he's vulnerable to something like Mutas. But Mutas, they get past the cannon. Get into the mineral line. 5 probes do go down. They rotate back around. Okay, another 10 workers. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, 10 probe kills. Mutas to head back over. Behind this, SHIN, he's making more Mutas. He's doubling down. +1 air attack. +1 air attack. Is going mass Muta. Takes down the Oracle. Nice pickup. SHIN, at times, he does switch into Master Roach Ravager, but that is not the case here. He is committing. He has some roaches to support the army, but going into melee, not range. So Lingbane Muta out of SHIN. Against a storm-heavy composition is risky. It's very risky. And here comes MaxPax. SHIN almost forcing it all in, as it looks like SHIN is going to hit the fourth, and MaxPax, he does not turn around, and he shouldn't. We commit. Let's go! We're going for the base trade. Mutas into the main, Ling Roche towards the fourth base, and the main Protoss army right down the center. Right down mid. Mutas over on the main, fourth base, that's a kill. SHIN, he does commit across the map, going for the third. And the base trade, that has begun. That's a lot of cannons though. Oof. Yeah, a lot of cannons. Production's going to be falling. Meanwhile, I believe that's a Roach one going down. No more Roaches, just pure Ling Muta. Ling Muta out of SHIN. Boys, they pull away. Oh my god. Storm on the ramp. Again, there are just so many Immortals. They destroy buildings so quickly. But do we have any buildings out on the map? Specifically for MaxPax. So he recalls. Does recall back home, recalls into the natural, takes down the Roaches, takes down the Lings. And as they head towards the third, they already dealt with the main. The main base already went down. MaxPax, he abandons the base trade. And he still has an economy here, at least, I spoke too soon. Nah, never mind. Never mind, 21 extra probe kills. Mutas, they go back into the main to make sure that everything stays depowered. MaxPax, he still has an army in the main base as well, across the map. He still has some forces. Oh my god, the storms. Oh Jesus. The storms, they summoned on the Mutas, but they're still alive. Yeah, they're still barely one more storm. One more storm is all he needs. There's one more High Templar moving in. But the Mutas, they do get away. Meanwhile, the boys are being pulled. It's a shaky defense back at home, but the spawning pool is still alive. Mutas, they get out of the main. They rotate back around. Storm, they load up in the prism. Stalkers go down. Again, it's a messy defense. At the same time, Zealots, they do hit the forward base. SHIN down to 30 drones. That's still double the worker count of MaxPax. Oh. Storm once again zones away. Mutas further into the main. Another storm grazes the army, but at this point, the Hydras, the Mutas, they've already regenerated their HP. They've already regened. Oh my god, another storm. You can see just one more storm. Uno más. Doesn't have it. I mean, he does have the High Templar, but barely not within range. And Mutas, they barely get away once again for the second time. Whew. And behind this, the Stargate finally gets repowered. Finally, we get one Phoenix in production. But that one Phoenix has a lot of work to do. Has a lot of work to do here. Meanwhile, that's going to be a kill on the third. How many Mutas in total? 28. 28 Mutas. Almost purely Muta when it comes to the army. As a handful of Lings back at home, gases are being taken. We have a 2 base economy. 2 base economy out of SHIN. Meanwhile, a 1 base economy out of MaxPax. And SHIN, he is still making Mutas because the Spire is still alive. It's bleeding out, but the Spire is still alive. Ooh, takes down the pylon. Takes on the pylon. Lings are ready on the right hand side. SHIN still rotating around. Whereas tempting to go for the prism. Very tempting. MaxPax is up to 3 Phoenixes. Only 3. Getting up to 4, but he's again stuck on 1 base. SHIN now taking his own third. Again, that base is still bleeding out. Thankfully, there we go. Overlords will spread creep. They will save the Spire. And hopefully save the spawning pool. So Prism goes down. We have Hydras on the way behind this. At a certain point, like going Mass Muta, it's just so risky. It's just such a fragile composition. So SHIN, he is diversifying. Oh no! Catches out the Phoenix. Phoenix goes down. GG gets called, and with that, SHIN, he will take the series 2-1, and he will take down MaxPax, and yeah, have good standing here in the groups. GG. Oh my god. Whew, GG, well played. A very intense series here between SHIN and MaxPax. Again, we saw that honestly game 3 was quite fortunate for SHIN. Winding it back, remember what happened. SHIN, he opened up with a Ling Flood. And if you remember, he was keeping the Lings at bay. He was waiting for the Oracle to move out, and something unexpected happened. Not the Ling Flood, not the Oracle moving out, but there was only one Oracle. There was only one Oracle because MaxPax behind it, he was going for a Stargate opener into Archon drop. So only one Oracle. What I mean by that, if there was a second Oracle coming out, which would happen in a standard game, then the second Oracle would arrive just in time to save the Nexus. But there was no second Oracle. So Lings, they came in from behind, they got on top of the third base, and they did get a kill on the third, or they got a cancel. They contained MaxPax. MaxPax had a very rough start to the game because of that. With that denied third, he was stuck on 2 bases. And with that, SHIN had the advantage. He had the advantage. With that advantage, what did he do with it? He went into mutas. He was able to go unscouted into mass muta and just tear MaxPax apart. Again, MaxPax, he was behind from the opener. He was behind from losing the third base, and he never quite recovered. We ended up in a base trade, and I mean, anything could have happened in that base trade. Anything could have happened. It was a chaotic base trade, but MaxPax did make the decision to recall. He killed the natural, recalled back home. I'm not opposed to the recall, but I think a key moment there, if you remember, what was also at that natural, he did kill the base. He killed the lair, I believe that was. Yeah, that was the lair at the natural. The Spire was there as well, but he didn't know. Like, he didn't get behind the mineral line, but that's what the Spire was. If he had sniped the Spire, then recalled, I mean, maybe he would have had a better chance to defend. If you remember, at the time, SHIN, he was still just pumping out pure muta, even towards the end, just still making more mutas. And because he had killed the lair as well, that might have been enough to slow down SHIN and for maybe the MaxPax to recover, but it's really hard to call just because, again, it was a chaotic base trade. Anything could happen. GG. GG well played. Regardless, SHIN, he does claim the series, does take down MaxPax. That leads us into the final series of the broadcast. Here we go. Hope SHIN isn't peaking too soon before EWC. I mean, SHIN, speaking of peaking, like, if you watch DreamHack, Dallas also performed really well at Dallas alongside that. So SHIN is looking in form, definitely. If he is peaking, I mean, just maintain the peak. True. Just maintain it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. GG. GG well played. With that, we have one series left. One series left in the broadcast. One final best of 3. It's going to be a best of 3 between Cure and ShoWTimE. Let's go. Another Terran versus Protoss. And again, Cure has been struggling here tonight when it comes to his TVPs. He went down to MaxPax, he went down to herO. Now he's up against ShoWTimE. Let's go. As game 1 is going to be on Persephone. Here we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing his new team, Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE, I believe, on Sentinels. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. So we are loading into Persephone. We've covered a lot of Persephone in this broadcast. I think every series has had a game on Persephone. Almost every series had a game on Killer's Mile. And again, this is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. It's a little bit more difficult to really get into a longer game state with all these bases. I'm referring to getting into a 4 and 5 base setup. In general, Cure has been hyper aggressive. They would go double gas opener, but Cure, he has been going for a lot of 2 base all-ins. A lot of 2 base all-ins tonight against both herO and MaxPax. I would imagine that is going to be the case here as well. And we'll see if that is the case. For now, double gas, faster factory, delayed CC. So faster factory here out of Cure. Probe does poke in. And ShoWTimE, he will be able to confirm. I say that he doesn't quite get into the main base, so for all ShoWTimE knows, there could be a CC. There could be a CC here, further back in the main base, hidden in the fog of war. So ShoWTimE is in the dark. I also just realized Cure, he does skip the SCV Scout. Likewise, he goes Reactor first on the racks. He does skip the Reaper as well. So very greedy here from Cure. And at this point, we're waiting to see the tech lab timing. Oh, that I was not expecting. Reactor Reaper. Okay. I was assuming we were going to preserve gas and go for a faster tech lab, but no, we're going Reactor Reaper Hellion, I would imagine. Much more assertive follow-up. Probe does pull away. CC now on the low ground. Yep, there we go. So Reaper Hellion, or Reactor Reaper Hellion, initially out of Cure. Now from here, I'm curious to see if we make extra Hellions. Do we make 1, 2, or 3 Hellions? When do we start the tech lab? Back at him, Stargate. Okay. Stargate open out of ShoWTimE. Bold move. Stargate play is typically reserved for larger maps in the map pool or for certain setups. Here we spoke previously in the series about a Protoss player about MaxPax being forced to take the unnatural natural. As a result, it opened up Stargate to be safe. But here, this is a bold move out of ShoWTimE. Back at home, Starport is on the way. You see that Cure does make a second Hellion. And the goal here, as he does make an extra wave of Hellions and Reapers, is for economic damage. Like, the purpose of this army here is to bust into a mineral line, to roast up some probes, and to get economic damage. But the shield battery is now done. You can see that ShoWTimE is ready. He's getting ready to wall up and to wall off. Nice Sim City. Reapers, they head up the ramp. The army is revealed. ShoWTimE knows. Oh, the Reaper does get knocked in. Let's go. Does get knocked into the main. It's going to be lifted. Behind this, tech lab on the factory. Cyclone first, going for the medevac, going for the drop. Meanwhile, the Reaper is going to be cleaned up. But yes, there are little positions like that where you can knock your Reaper over the wall, or knock units over the wall, I should say, with that KDA charge. With that, Curie got a full scout. I mean, of course, he is now aware of the Stargate, as the Phoenixes were revealed. And back at home is massing up those Cyclones, now going into his Vikings. Cure still reinforcing. Cure is still just being hyper-aggressive. Coming in with the Cyclone, coming in with the medevac. Again, he wants to break at ShoWTimE. Likewise, going for the Cybercore. Nice pickup. Cybercore is going to be sniped. ShoWTimE collapsing in. Oh, does save the Cybercore for now. So back the army. Does zone Cure back. ShoWTimE pulls away. Cybercore taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage. ShoWTimE is going to be forced back. It's forced back. Cybercore still gets sniped. Nice pick off there by Cure. ShoWTimE claiming a third base. Still just a vanilla gateway army. Phoenix, he can lift the Cyclone. And now going for the Viking. Goes to the Marines instead. The Cyclone as well, but there's a second Cyclone. Is going to be enough. He does break the lock-ons. Yeah, lock-ons are broken. Nice target firing out of ShoWTimE. Does take down one of the Cyclones, but again, the other does arrive. Ooh, and ShoWTimE gets punished. He will lose everything. Oh, gets a Cyclone. Nice pick up towards yet another Cyclone arrives. Curie's he's just rallying. He's just rallying everything across the map. His goal here is to break ShoWTimE. The Phoenix kind of still relatively healthy. Shield battery does help support. Does help defend. ShoWTimE he does rebuild the Cybercore. Getting into +1. He does try to snipe the... Oh, doesn't quite snipe. Does take down the Viking. Viking goes down. Cyclone as well. Nice lift. And we're still just rallying. Even rallying the tank as well. Oh my god. Cure, calm down. Cure, he was hoping to end the game. Behind this, his third base is late. Likewise, Stim is so very late. Ooh. Nice tank shot. But this was borderline all in here from Cure. Like, tech-wise, he doesn't really have much going on. At 6:30, he now does begin Stim. So very late Stim, very late bio transition. Cure, he was hoping for more damage. He traded with the army, but he was hoping for something more substantial. It's like resource-wise, almost an even trade. But Cure, he won the economy, and ShoWTimE is on 3 bases. He's on 3 bases. Taking his gases, now taking up into +1, charge, gateway, explosion. And Cure is forced all the way back home. He's forced all the way back home. The aggression not as successful as he wanted it to be. Now he has to lick his wounds, work on the upgrades. A 3rd CC is on the way. But here he's stuck at home. At this point, he's stuck at home. And ShoWTimE can just max expand. He can just get a 4th, and he will. I'll be honest, if we were casting herO, he'd go for the gold. I would not be, considering the amount of map control that ShoWTimE currently has, I would not be opposed to the gold base. Does have the proxy across the map to harass. ShoWTimE, he takes up first, Robo, Temple Archives. So a bit of a later 4th out of ShoWTimE, as he takes first. But there it is on the way. Meanwhile, Curie breaks out. Ooh, the Phoenixes will miss the move out. Uh-oh. ShoWTimE, he does miss Cure. Or should I say that Cure misses ShoWTimE? The mineralized exposed. No turrets! Greedy. Very greedy here by Cure. I mean, Cure, he knows that he's fully aware of the Phoenixes. He knows about the Sky Toss, or the Stargates. 10 SCVs go down. He's set up here outside of the bases. ShoWTimE, he recalls in time. Likewise, he can counterattack with that gateway. Tank's moving in. Tank gets spotted. He's going for it. It takes out both tanks and the Widow Mines. Ay, ay, ay. And he can just keep going. He can just chase down Cure. The backbone of his army is no longer there. Likewise, trying to bait out those mine shots. Does somewhat drag. ShoWTimE does overextend. He has to calm down. Remember, as ShoWTimE bleeds out those zealots, he has to back off. He can only engage with charge lots. Archon goes down. Massive loss there for ShoWTimE. And I was curious. I was like, where were the zealots? They're across the map. They move out across the map. They're catching reinforcements. This is a risky maneuver out of ShoWTimE. That means they're not home to defend. They're just now on the way. Here comes a second warp in. Nice lift on the Widow Mines. And without mines, Zealots, they just have so much freedom here in this fight. Collapsing on the Metamax. And no more support. Meanwhile, Zealots, they bust into the main. 21 SCV kills. They cripple the economy. I mean, Curie was already in a rough position, but now even more so. 24, that's how many total? 34 workers in total. Ay, ay, ay. Zealots get cleaned up, but that was well worth it for ShoWTimE. Again, it was risky for him to go for the Zealot warping across the map, but it was worth it. It was more than worth it here. It cripples ShoWTimE. Sorry, it cripples Cure, I meant to say. ShoWTimE behind this on 4 bases. Fully saturated. Minimal gas. Mainly Zealot. Mainly charge lots. Now working towards Colossus. Working towards splash damage. No storm. ShoWTimE does make his way into the main. Oh, the mines! Widow Mines do punish. Quick reaction towards the end there by ShoWTimE. That could have been so much worse. Gateway gets found, but once again he does take pick off the mineral and still no turrets. Still no missile turrets here in the main. Oh no. I mean, no turrets, period. I mean, this is intentional. So the reason why there are no turrets, typically at this level of play, is that the Terran player with their aggression is hoping that he can keep ShoWTimE busy, right? He wants to maintain map control, keep the Phoenixes busy at home, or catch in and kind of move out. But Cure has been missing them. He's just been missing the Phoenixes. So he's just being punished time and time again for not having those turrets. He was relying on his army, but again, didn't quite have the map control he was hoping for. And with that, ShoWTimE, he just punishes once again another 11 SCVs. Now Colossus are amassing. Blink is on the way. And Cure is all in at this point. Cure, he's all in. It's all or nothing. He does have EMPs. Does have plenty of ghosts. He gets spotted by the Observer. Kira spots the Observer. They spot each other. ShoWTimE getting a 5th. Still no gold, unfortunately. Again, I do think there were opportunities for that, but regardless, ShoWTimE is fine anyway. He's maxed out. So we go, ShoWTimE does push. And the armies, they do pass by each other. Yeah, Kira out of position. ShoWTimE, he can always recall. He does turn back around. Spots the army. There's the recall. Recalls the Phoenix as he comes in from behind. And Kira, he's trapped. He has to commit. EMPs here on the main army. Claws, they come in from both sides. Phoenix as well. We get a full start round. And there's no way out of this. Yeah, he cannot kite out, he cannot kite back. Nice juggling there out of ShoWTimE. GG gets called as he swallows up the army, and ShoWTimE, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Oh my god. ShoWTimE, calm down. GG well played. ShoWTimE does take a lead in the series. Very impressive game 1, and we'll see if Kira can recover coming into game 2. Again, it was just a really rough start for Kira to lose all those workers, lose all those SCVs. I say that, winding it back even further, of course, it all began with Kira being hyper aggressive. Remember, he went Reacted Reaper Hellion into Cyclones, into tanks, and he rallied everything across the map. And he traded, that is true. He was able to pick off some Phoenixes, he was able to pick off some Stalkers. He traded with the army, but that was not good enough. He sacrificed so much to push like that, to push and to be that aggressive, and he didn't do any economic damage. No economic damage. He killed a Cyber Core, that's all the tech damage that he dealt. Just wasn't worth it. In the aftermath, Kira, he fell behind because he didn't do enough. He was stuck at home, he had no tech. It allowed ShoWTimE to mass expand. I still do feel like ShoWTimE could have been greedier there and even gone for the gold, but regardless, ShoWTimE was free to get a 4th base, free to attack up into Colossus, free to do whatever he so chose to, as Kira, he had no follow-up, he had no presence, and was punished for it. GG. GG well played. With that, ShoWTimE does take a lead in the series, and we're now stepping into game number 2, going to be loading into Incorporeal. The pressure is on Kira to recover. Let's go. Let us go. See in chat, how many best of 3s will be casted today? 5. This is the final best of 3. This is the final series of the broadcast. Just as a reminder, this is a replay cast of day 1. We live casted day 2 and day 3 previously in the month of May, so we already covered day 2 and day 3, but we missed out on day 1 because we were casting another tournament. We were casting the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League at the time, so we weren't able to cast day 1 live, so we're here catching up. Why are we catching up now? Well, because we have a free afternoon, because everyone is traveling. DreamHack Dallas just finished, so all the Europeans are traveling, all the Koreans are traveling, so now is the best time for us to catch up on an event that we missed out on to get ready for the playoffs. The playoffs are scheduled to begin in the next couple of days. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels, leading the series 1-0. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, opening up double gas. It is Cure. Here we go. So we got a much more aggressive start at the Kira opening up double gas, going for a faster factory, so racks into factory. Similar to the previous game. Last game, it was the same opener, I should say, but it led into what? It led into Reacted Reaper Hellion initially, then into Cyclone and Viking Aggression as the follow-up. Here, I would imagine a different kind of follow-up is going to be available. There are a lot of options for the Terran. Kira from here, he can go for an early Tech Lab into early Cyclone, then into an add-on swap into Banshee play. He can go Cyclone into Tank, into Medevac, into Tank drop across the map. He can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. He can go Widowmine drop initially into Banshee, into Cloak. There's options. There's a lot of options here. So we'll see what Kira goes for. Regardless, it is going to be the factory, and it should be into the command center. Technically, you can go from here go into a one-base all-in, but a one-base all-in on Incorporeal sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, so that most likely won't happen. catching up. What's a future tournament you're looking forward to besides EWC? I mean, I guess all of them. Like, there's just a lot of StarCraft going on. There's a lot of tournaments. There's EWC, there's Stars Agora, there's Home Story Cup, there's GSL Season 2, there's Philadelphia, there's the Brazilian Soccer 2 Circuit, El Circuito Brasileiro, if you will. So a lot of offline events. Fun fact, another offline event was just announced. There's an Australian LAN happening at the end of June. There's another Australian LAN. And I was so excited. I was like, oh, let's go. There's an Oddscraft happening in Brisbane next month. And then I checked, and it is the same weekend as Home Story Cup. Smurge, 5%. Same weekend as Home Story Cup. That is so sad because, for those who don't know, for the past like 3, maybe 4 Home Story Cups, we've been the B stream. Like, we've been the official B stream of Home Story Cup. So we're probably going to be the B stream again, which means I can't travel to the Australian LAN if I'm doing Home Story Cup. So it's like, so I'd have to pick and choose. And if I did Oddscraft, I'd just be there to play and to be a part of like the events. I wouldn't be there to cast it. So it's unfortunate that I have to pick between the two. Either go to an event and catch up with all the Aussie boys, with your Pez, with your Azur, with your Oreo, with your Chappy, este Chappy, which will be a lot of fun. But at the same time, casting, right? Yeah. So I am torn. But yeah, there's just a lot of StarCraft going on. But if you're asking me what I'm most excited for, I think that's outside of EWC. I think I'm most excited for RSL, just because of the importance that it signifies. I think RSL is probably the most important event that's going to be happening. Just because that is more indicative of the future of StarCraft. For those who don't know, the RSL is the Revival StarCraft League. It is a crowd-funded tournament. There are going to be multiple seasons as well, and it is one of the big events and big initiatives that is going to be taking place in StarCraft to kind of fill the void and step in the absence of offline events in the remainder of 2025. Again, we only have offline events confirmed until halfway through the year. After that, it's kind of all in the dark, so that's where these crowdfunded events like RSL are more important, where they have more significance, and that's what I'm looking forward to, personally. Looking forward to the RSL. An event that we won't be casting. We did cast the qualifiers, but we won't be casting the main events, but it's not about that. It's about, you know, what the event means and what it signifies. And it's more important that it does well. So I would say that. The RSL. Behind this, meanwhile, meanwhile, as the game has been progressing, oh my god, we do have a 3-1-1 setup here. When it comes to the opener, it was double gas, of course, but it led into double Raven. Interference Matrix. Wait, hold on. What's been happening? hold on. So it was a 2-gate blink opener, 2-gate blink into a faster, 3-gate blink into a third. A very safe economic opener here at a ShoWTimE, so it does get into a third base. Behind this, going into a Robo follow-up into Colossus, not into Charge. Interesting, as often Charge is seen nowadays in the current meta as the follow-up. This commitment into Raven here is a little bit odd. This kind of Raven style was really good against Robo openers. This is not a Robo opener though. Technically, there are going to be faster Colossus, and there is going to be value in the Ravens because of that. So in a sense, like, there is going to be some value there, but yeah, this is very old school from Cure. Like, you rarely see double Raven into Interference Matrix in this matchup anymore. Oh my god. As Raven almost goes down, nice control down to ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE doesn't engage ahead of time. Behind this, Stim is going to be much faster. Bearing in mind, the reason why Stim is so fast, no tanks. Like, no tanks. There was no tech lab on the factory. Instead, we did have the tech lab prioritized on the starport and on the on the Raxes instead. So really fast Stim. Remember, last game Stim started at 6:30. Stim is done this game at 6:30. So it shows just how much faster it is this time. ShoWTimE does move out. Behind this, Colossus on the way. Massive gateway explosion, working towards Charge. Charge is still not yet done. It's going to be on ShoWTimE to slow down the push, to slow down Kior. And because of the Ravens, because they survived, I mean, they can disable the Colossus. True. The Colossus are not going to be the backbone of the army that we would hope, and ShoWTimE knows that. Like, he sees both Ravens. Ideally, he doesn't want to snipe one. Speaking of, oh. Once again, he bleeds out a Stalker, takes down a couple of Marines. Cure's pushing in. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing. 2 base all in here out of Cure. He does commit, does double down. ShoWTimE getting a 4th base. That's not going to help. We don't need a 4th. We need an army. We need shield batteries. ShoWTimE has, there we go. He sees the boys. Nice force field. There's a disable, but the force fields, they lock down the army. They buy more time, and we need as many warpins as possible. ShoWTimE's got 1,000 minerals. He's warping in wherever he can. And Cure, he's coming in from multiple angles. Once again, nice force fields. He comes in from the right-hand side. Once again, does get the missile off. And the disables. Nice double disable. This is the final disables here of Cure. Does push in. ShoWTimE is in trouble. But the disables are about to run out. They're about to run out. Yeah, nice kiting here from ShoWTimE. There we go. The disables, they run out. Zealots warp in. And the Colossus, they just mow down the Marines. Yeah, the Marines do melt. He gets one. Takes out one Colossus. Nice dive. The boys are being pulled. Mine shot's about to go off. Forcing a bit of friendly fire. Colossus does kite back. The Colossus is barely gonna survive. Oh my god. Yeah, it does survive. The army, he runs out of steam. There's nothing left. Cure, he just barely doesn't have enough. He's down to 3 Marauders. 3 Marauders, 1 Marine, and a couple of Metamax. And yes, he killed the mineral line, but that is not good enough. ShoWTimE, he got away with the 4th base. He's crazy. Got away with the 4th. The Colossus survived. GG gets called. Cure, he has nothing left, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-0, taking down Cure. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he will claim the series. He will take down Cure. Cure having a bit of a hard time here in day 1. We were aware of that. We were aware that Cure had a bit of a rougher time, and we were curious what exactly transpired in these matches. And something that I was most curious by was the kind of play that Cure brought to the table. Now, for those that are unaware, first, GG well played. GG well played. Again, ShoWTimE did a great job at slowing down the push with his Stalkers. He did a great job when it came to engaging with the army, the force fields. Honestly, imagine that game without those force fields. Cure would have been able to engage, what, 30 seconds sooner, even earlier than that? Like, he would have been able to push himself up that ramp, dive on the army. There would have been less zealots. That would have been game then and there. The force fields did, or I should say, ShoWTimE did a great job at just buying time with the Stalkers and with those force fields for extra zealot warp-ins, for the shield batteries, for extra Colossus, for a stronger defense. GG. GG well played. Very impressive play there by ShoWTimE. Demao does it again. Trying to all in ShoWTimE. You're crazy. And ShoWTimE will claim the series. Congratulations. But what I was going to say here is that I was really curious to see how Cure would play in these matchups. Let us quickly have a look at today's matches. Now, for those that haven't been watching Cure as of late, when it comes to Cure over the past month at this point, Cure has been hyper aggressive. He's been hyper aggressive in TVP, non-stop 2 base all-ins. And I was curious because this day 1 of Mayhem started at the beginning of the month, which is around the time that we saw that shift and that change from Cure as Cure stepped into GSL Season 1 in the group stage with non-stop all-ins. It eventually culminated in the finals, of course, of GSL with those non-stop all-ins and even into DreamHack as well. But that's what Cure was going for. And I was trying to pinpoint the exact moments that occurred. This event took place at the start of May. The start of May, or day 1 of the Mayhem was at the start of May. It was like the first week of May. And as you saw in this series, there were a couple of games where Cure was playing macro, where he was playing more standard. Only a couple though. It was like 50-50. He went for a 2 base all-in once in every series. He went for it at least once. Nowadays, he does it every game. So it felt like this is like the beginning of his villain arc. This it's like the beginning of the villain arc here is for Cure to be knocked out 2-0 by MaxPax, 2-0 by herO, and 2-0 by ShoWTimE. This was the trigger, the flashpoint. This is the moment when Cure, he fell to the dark side and he just doubled down, and it worked out well for him because, again, if you've been watching Cure throughout the rest of May in GSL group stage, GSL playoffs, likewise at DreamHack Dallas as well, and even in the weeklies in between, Cure has been going for non-stop 2 base all-ins since this event. So in my mind, this was the breaking point. I was trying to pinpoint the moment that Cure, that he fell to the dark side, Poppy. This might have been it. GG. Again, getting 6-0'd by Protoss in one day does something to a Terran, I feel. it does something to a Terran, Pappy, and I want to believe, at least in my mind, in my narrative, that that's what we got. But yeah, GG well played with that. Congratulations here to our players that did pop off here tonight, to Clem, MaxPax, herO, SHIN, and ShoWTimE. And of course, for those that are curious, the Mayhem playoffs are scheduled to begin tomorrow. Now, I say they're scheduled to begin tomorrow. Something that we found out, unfortunately, is tomorrow the Mayhem is going to be clashing with the EWC European qualifiers. This was not known beforehand, before the Mayhem was scheduled. So because of that, we might have to reschedule. We might have to adjust some things. I don't have full confirmation of what is going to happen with the playoffs of the Mayhem. I guess I can just show this off here and now. Hold on. We have the technology. Here we go. I got you. Bam. Beautiful. Okay. So this was the group stage. And again, if you missed out on these matches, I recommend the VODs. We already casted the day one. Now we casted day 1. We already covered day 2 and day 3 of the group stage. In the finale of the group stage, in the end, we have our top 4. We have Clem, ShoWTimE, herO, and MaxPax. 3 Protoss and 1 Terran made it through the group stage here in the end. Again, herO had a harder time. SHIN had a 3-way tie with herO and MaxPax. It came down to the wire. It came down to map score when it comes to herO, MaxPax, and SHIN, and who would make it through. So very close between these 2 players. ShoWTimE, he popped off in the group stage, might I add. And of course, Clem went undefeated, as to be expected. So we had a top 4. And again, tomorrow, as you can see here, in 1 day and 2 hours, time, we are scheduled to cast the playoffs. We have Clem versus ShoWTimE in the upper bracket finals to determine the champion. And then we have here the bronze match. We have herO versus MaxPax, leading into the loser of Clem and ShoWTimE. So we have 3 matches. We have the golden match, the bronze match, and the silver match here as well, to determine the top players here, the placing players of this event. So a lot of PvP, a lot of PvT is going to be ahead of us here for the Mayhem. But as I mentioned, it was originally scheduled for tomorrow, but because of the EWC qualifiers, I believe the EWC qualifiers, they start 1 hour before this. I believe 1 hour before this time are the EWC European qualifiers. So because of that, the organizer of this event may reschedule, and we might have to postpone. I say might have to postpone, from my understanding, because Inu casts this event. Inu covers this event in Korean, and I don't think Inu has permission to cast the EWC qualifiers. So because of that, they might just go on with it. They might just still run the event. We do have permission to cast the EWC qualifiers, so it's up to us to kind of prioritize what to cast. Do we want to cast the qualifiers? Do we want to cast this event? I'll have to discuss this internally with the CranKy Ducklings with what we want to do. There's a high chance that we might just cast the EWC qualifiers live, and we might do this via replays. That might be the case, which is less than ideal, but I mean, we'd have to do 1 via replays if we wanted to cast both, essentially. So yeah, it's less than ideal. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out if we want to cover which event we want to cover live, the qualifiers or the Mayhem, and which one via replays. We'll figure it out. Unfortunately, just everything's happening at once. Everything's happening. MaxPax Korean. Oh, do I have the wrong thing? Hold on. Okay. Hey, he's Danish against Cure, but he turned Korean against SHIN. True. Sorry, my apologies. I'll fix that. My apologies. There we go. Did fix it up. But yeah, so it is definitely something that we have to ponder when it comes to this event. Regardless, again, tomorrow is going to be a very busy day when it comes to EWC qualifiers, when it comes to the Pegasaur Cup. So I think someone was asking, tomorrow we're going to be casting the Pegasaur Cup in the morning, and then the EWC qualifiers most likely in the evening. We might do the Pondcast in between. It depends on again, if there are more EWC, like there's just so many EWC qualifiers over the week. We will be casting every single one. Ideally, we're going to be trying our best to cover the Korean qualifiers, Asia qualifier, European qualifier, and the Americas qualifier as well. We will have to adjust our schedule because of that. So there are some events that we have to move around, that we have to reschedule, that we have to postpone, just because the EWC qualifiers are just non-stop. And of course, we're also going to be casting GSL. So we're going to be casting GSL this week, EWC qualifiers, what else this week? The Biggest Cup, of course, and Sparkling Tuna Cup over the weekend, potentially as well. I say potentially, there's just so many EWC qualifiers. Aye. So yes, we're gonna have to schedule around EWC for that. It seems more logical, EWC being a bigger event, kind of. I would say the only issue is that if we don't cast this Mayhem live, I would say this is a bigger event in a sense, as in like there's like some really top tier players and some really strong matches here. But we will be provided the replay, so we can always do this via replay cast. That'll be fine. If we don't cast EWC qualifiers, chances are we won't get the replays for that. Like that's we won't have that luxury of getting the replays for the EWC qualifiers. So because of that, it makes more sense for us to cover one live and this one maybe not, if we wanted to cast everything. But yeah, I wish I had the ability to shapeshift into another nationality. I will. Oh no, MaxPax is that good. It's crazy. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. Hope you guys had a great time. Hope you guys had a great evening. Hope you enjoyed DreamHack Dallas over the weekend, of course. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the event. Of course, we covered the event ourselves. If you wish, the VODs are available on YouTube. VODs are available on Twitch. When it comes to our coverage of DreamHack Dallas, we were a community stream for day 1 and day 2. Day 3, we were co-streaming the main stream. So we had more of like a viewer party-esque kind of dynamic for the final day. But for day 1 and day 2 was just straight up casting and covering our own matches at DreamHack Dallas. So you can follow us there. You can watch those VODs over on YouTube. ! Socials in the chat to getting access to all those links, to get access to all those channels. Otherwise, if you wish, you can support us via Patreon! Patreon in the chat, and you can support the events that we do host on a regular basis. What events do we host? Masters 1 Open, Sparkling Tuna Cup, and Duckling Open as well. Bam! There you go. You can see our 3 events on my right, the 3 events that we do host on a regular basis. I say we host them on a regular basis. We did miss out on Sparkling Tune Cup this week because of DreamHack Dallas, and I did just mention that we're going to have to reschedule MSO because of the EWC qualifiers. So our events are going to be a little bit more messy this month, just because of all the other events that are happening. So we're going to have to try to move things around and try to rotate, and we'll make up for it. Of course, we'll make up for it, but yeah, we'll have to shift our tournaments around to accommodate for EWC. But otherwise, you can support us. You can support us via Patreon. Again, 100% of that money goes towards the players, goes towards these tournaments. So you can support us there if you wish. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you had a great time. Again, our next broadcast is going to be in 11 hours. In 11 hours time, we're going to be live with the Pigasaur. Oh god, I keep saying that. In 11 hours time, we're going to be live with the Pigasaur Cup. That is what I would usually say, but again, it's a really busy week when it comes to StarCraft. I believe that the Latin American GSL playoffs are also tomorrow. For those that are curious, in the Latin American region, the Latin American scene, there is the Latin American League that did begin, I want to say 2 weeks ago. We weren't able to cast a group stage because we were casting so many other things. But we did promise that I did apologize to them. I was like, I'm sorry, we cannot cast a group stage. Like, we're so stoked up, we're so busy, but we'll be there for the playoffs. We'll be there. Pigasaur Monday is going to be clashing with the Latin American League, and because of that, we most likely are going to be doing the Pigasaur Monday the Pigasaur Cup via replay cast. But the channel's going to be live. We're going to be there covering some StarCraft, or actually, we might do both. We might be able to do the Latin American League first, and then we may be able to like jump into like the semifinals of the Pigasaur Cup. Like, it might line up. It's just, there's a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. Regardless, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, it's a very chaotic week here, a very chaotic month in general, just because there's so much happening. But what we can promise you though, is non-stop StarCraft. Non-stop StarCraft on the channel. We cast StarCraft twice a day, every single day. We cast more StarCraft than any other channel out there. More than Wardy, more than Steadfast, more than anyone else. We have the content, we have the quantity, and we have a little bit of the quality as well. Oh boy. All the content, all the StarCraft, all the casting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego. Give some love to Eva. Give him some love, papi. Give him some love. He's streaming at the moment.